Chapter 1185. Amidst the conversation, he gently raised his hand and gave the iron fire ant larvae and eggs he had obtained from the myriad beasts' mountain range. Iron fire ants. When Lu Qinsha heard this, his expression immediately showed surprise and delight as he bowed with hands clasped. "Thank you, father. Your son will definitely cultivate these iron fire ants well." He had seen these iron fire ants on the strange insect list before. Although they were ranked quite low, the fact that they made the list meant they were not ordinary. Once they swarm in their thousands, they become very troublesome. Even Foundation establishment cultivators would find it difficult to stop them. If there were tens of thousands of them, even nascent soul cultivators would have a headache. The larvae and eggs in front of him were densely packed like a round ball, estimated to be nearly 1,000 of them. If cultivated properly, allowing them to breed continuously, in the future they could definitely swarm in tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands. You first hatch and cultivate them normally. If there are any issues, come to me anytime. Lu Changxing said aloud. Although the iron fire ants live in a very harsh environment, with an insect nest bag and an ancient beast taming charm, it wouldn't be a problem. However, he plans to wait until the spirit vein is upgraded before planting the golden fire vine tree. "Yes, father." Lu Qinsha respectfully replied. "Do you have the ancient beast taming charm on you?" Lu Changxing continued to ask. "It's here." Lu Qinsha hurriedly handed over the ancient beast taming charm. After looking at it, Lu Changxing handed him a storage bag, saying, "Put all the spirit stones and spiritual materials inside this storage bag into the charm." Previously, due to limited resources, his Blackwater Jiaolong spirit weapon could only grow slowly with time. Now that he has money, he naturally plans to quickly cultivate the first batch of second-order Jiaolong Dao troops. "Yes, father." Lu Qinsha obediently replied. "All right, you can go back now. Notify me when the first second-order Jiaolong Dao troops appear." Lu Changxing said aloud. Your son takes his leave. In the presence of Lu Changxing, his father, Lu Qinsha still felt a certain restraint and awe. When he stepped out of the side hall and looked at the storage bag in his hand, he took a deep breath in shock. So many spirit stones, and so many crystal cores, heavenly and earthly treasures, this must be worth over 10,000 spirit stones? Lu Qinsha was extremely astonished and realized that his father seemed richer than he had imagined. But regarding these resources, he dared not have the slightest greedy thought, nor would he act on greed. In Bai Lake Mountain, he not only had Lu Changxing as a father but also a mother who was rarely seen on regular days. This mother was somewhat cold toward him, only telling him to listen more to his father's words, but every time they met, she would give him many cultivation resources. Without these, relying solely on the benefits of Bai Lake Mountain, he would not have been able to cultivate so many spiritual insects. The novel, F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Qinsha, here, take one, I'll take one too. At this moment, Lu Lingyi saw Lu Qinsha, handed him a spirit stone, and then put one into his own waste storage bag. "Thank you, Xiaohe." Lu Qinsha grinned as he took the spirit stone. A middle-grade spirit stone is equal to 100 lower-grade spirit stones, which was not a small amount for him. But after seeing the storage bag his father gave him, he suddenly felt that this spirit stone was somewhat bland. Once I break through to Foundation establishment, I should be able to quickly earn spirit stones when I go out for training, right? Lu Qinsha pondered in his heart. Hee, you're welcome. Lu Lingyi grinned and went on to share spirit stones in a cute manner, looking to see who in the family had not come to receive them and proactively distributed the spirit stones. In the side hall. "Pingan, how is everything with the Commerce Association now?" Lu Changxing looked at his tall and burly, handsome and rugged eldest son and asked. "Father, everything is ready now." Lu Pingan's voice was deep. 6 months ago, the Lu family had already settled the establishment of the Commerce Association, and after much preparation, even had involved family holdings such as Qingzhou Mountain, 100 Birds Lake, and the Ironwood Forest. Now they were just waiting for Lu Changxing to give the go-ahead. "Good, since that's the case, you can pick a time yourself," Lu Changxing stated. After speaking, he examined Lu Pingan for a moment, then asked, "Pingan, your 100 refinements treasure body art should be close to breaking through, right?" It should be another 2 or 3 years." Lu Pingan scratched his head and said. 2 or 3 years? Lu Changxing slightly raised his eyebrows, stepped forward and placed his palm on his son's shoulder to check the condition of his physical body. After a short while, he said, "In the coming time, stay in by Lake Mountain, and father will prepare a medicinal bath for you. After bathing and receiving the blessing, you can directly break through to the 8th level." "Thank you, father." Lu Pingan immediately bowed in gratitude. The 100 refinements treasure body art at the 8th level. The others looked towards their big brother. Especially Lu Lingxiao. He was cultivating the 100 refinements treasure body art. He knew what it meant to reach the 8th level of this cultivation technique. His big brother was only at the initial stage of foundation establishment, and his body refinement was about to reach quasi-3rd order. Take this spiritual beast." Lu Changxing handed over a beast control token and a spiritual pet bag to Lu Pingan, saying, "This spiritual beast has been tamed before, but it is ferocious, filled with wildness, and taming it would require some time and effort. See if you can tame it. If you can, it will be your spiritual pet." Lu Changxing spoke. Inside was the 2nd order spiritual beast, the silver-winged golden falcon that he had acquired previously. As for this spiritual beast, Lu Changxing himself had no particular desires and was too lazy to spend time slowly refining and taming it. Currently, among his children, only Lu Pingan had the strength to tame it. It would be apt as a mount for him since he liked to travel to Rui Prefecture. "Thank you, father." Lu Pingan took the spiritual pet bag, curious to see what kind of spiritual beast was inside. Suddenly he saw a majestic, elegant, and ferocious-looking falcon shining in a golden luster. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1186. Its eagle eyes were penetrating, and the lightning-like wings shimmered with a cold, silvery gloss. Lu Changxing waved his hand, signaling that he could leave, then stepped forward to check the cultivation levels of his 5 children. For Lu Lingxiao, Lu Xingqian, reaching foundation establishment would surely be no issue. It all depends on whether they can condense a suitable Dao foundation. As for Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Qingsong, the situation is quite dire, extremely dire. Although daughter Lu Caizhen possesses a 5th grade spiritual root, but her cultivation practice is inconsistent, fishing for 3 days and drying the nets for 2, her temperament and comprehension are quite mediocre. You all should take this time to properly adjust your condition at home. Later on your father will prepare a medicinal bath for you. After bathing, you can attempt foundation establishment, Lu Changxing declared aloud. The trip to slay the Demon King and prepare for the medicinal bath, of course, was not just for my son Lu Lingxiao, it was for everyone. It's just that in Lu Lingxiao's case, the potency of the medicine can be stronger. Yes, father. Thank you, father. Upon hearing this, joy spread across everyone's faces as they respectfully answered. Afterward, Lu Changxing inquired into any doubts they had about their cultivation and offered them guidance one by one. All right, it's just foundation establishment, no need to be too nervous. Lu Changxing waved his hand dismissively, speaking casually as he walked out of the side hall with his children. However, although he said that, Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Qingsong were still somewhat anxious. Usually, it's nothing much for one person to reach foundation establishment. But now, with 5 people in the family attempting foundation establishment at the same time, it would be thoroughly embarrassing if everyone else succeeded, but you failed. Moreover, it seems that there has never been a failure in foundation establishment in our family before, has there? If I became the first one in the family to fail at foundation establishment, I'm afraid it would be recorded in the family's book of shame. In the evening, Lu Changxing had the family prepare a banquet, for a family reunion dinner. Although the family has so many wives and children that a single hall could not hold them all. CTH novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But this kind of family banquet is mainly to let the children of the household gather together more often and share their feelings. The next day. Shower. I remember that within your vermilion bird sky scorching art there's the fire absorbing technique, correct? Lu Changxing approached his son Lu Lingxiao, ready to help him refine the heavenly spiritual fire. Right. Lu Lingxiao nodded slightly, roughly guessing what his father intended to do. His mother Ling Zixiao had previously mentioned the matter of the heavenly spiritual fire to him. Let's go, now that your father has some free time, I will help you refine the heavenly spiritual fire. Lu Changxing promptly took Lu Lingxiao to find his wife Lu Miaoge. After all, his son was only at the qi refinement realm, and refining such heavenly spiritual fire is quite dangerous, so it would be much safer with Lu Miaoge's protection. My lord, shower is only in qi refinement, shouldn't we wait until after foundation establishment to refine it? Ling Zixiao was somewhat surprised to see Lu Changxing ready to help his son refine the heavenly spiritual fire. One must know that this vein of heavenly spiritual fire is so fierce and domineering that even she dare not refine it lightly, let alone her son Lu Lingxiao. Xiao has the dragon roar physique, refining this heavenly spiritual fire now will cleanse his marrow and shear his hair, forging an even stronger foundation. Besides, with me and Sister Miaoge watching over, nothing will go wrong, Lu Changxing smiled and said. Then, looking at Lu Miaoge, he said, Sister Miaoge, later on use the Tai True water to protect Shower's meridians and Dantian. Lu Miaoge, with her gentle and beautiful appearance, softly smiled and answered. Thank you, father, aunt. Lu Lingxiao bowed with his hands clasped, knowing his father was forging a perfect foundation base for him. The process later might be a bit painful. Lu Changsheng's palm gently lifted, taking out a porcelain bottle containing second-rank fire seed, and spoke aloud. Father, rest assured, I can bear it. Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao's face immediately took on a firm expression. Good, truly worthy of being my son, Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing laughed and released the fire seed from the ice jade porcelain bottle. The originally calm black flame burst forth with a puff and swelled up spontaneously, filling the air and sending the temperature soaring, unbearably scorching hot. Such a fearsome heavenly spiritual fire, no wonder the Ming family patriarch chose to sell this heavenly spiritual fire. A foundation establishment cultivator attempting to subdue this spiritual fire would likely face a life and death struggle. Ling Zixiao watched the fiercely burning, destructive flame and mused to herself, only then realizing that the previous containment by the ice crystal bottle had suppressed the true might of this heavenly spiritual fire. Heavenly spiritual fire, if a second-rank heavenly spiritual fire is so astonishing, how domineering must a third-rank spiritual fire be? Lu Lingxiao stepped back involuntarily in the face of the scorching wave of heat, feeling his entire body unbearably hot. Humph. Lu Changxing saw this, snorted coldly, and with long, jade-like hands, he caught the mass of black fire in his palm. Pfft. The black fire surged, filling the space and seemed ready to engulf Lu Changxing. However, with a puff from Lu Changxing's hand, a purple-red flame resembling a flood dragon erupted, causing the black flame to retreat and jump around erratically. Although such heavenly spiritual fire lacks spiritual intelligence, it still has the instinctive will of living beings. Between different heavenly spiritual fires, there exists a natural drive to devour each other. Thus, this strain of black spiritual fire felt an inherent dread in the face of the Thunder Gang dragon flame. Is this also a heavenly spiritual fire? Seeing the purple-red dragon-like flame in his father's hand, Lu Lingxiao asked with a hint of surprise and doubt. For some reason, he felt a strange, throbbing sensation from the flame in his father's hand, not fear but a kind of affinity. Yes, this too is a heavenly spiritual fire, Lu Changxing confirmed to his son. Then, he gripped the black fire seed in his hand, suppressed it with the Thunder Gang dragon flame until only a faint wisp of the fire seed's origin source remained. Sister Miaoge, Lu Changxing looked toward Lu Miaoge, signaling her to proceed. Immediately, Lu Miaoge gently raised her hand, glowing with a deep blue luster, and placed her palm on Lu Lingxiao's back. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1187, Shower. Lu Changxing looked at Lu Lingxiao, and with a slash on his palm, fresh blood flowed, then he placed the black fire seed into his hand. Hiss. Lu Lingxiao instantly felt a scorching pain in his palm, as if he had touched a red-hot branding iron, and he sharply inhaled a breath of cool air. The moment the black fire seed fell into Lu Lingxiao's hand, it instantly surged with a fierce and scorching flame, threatening to engulf Lu Lingxiao and even resisting the absorption of his blood. Humph. Seeing this, Lu Changxing channeled his yin-yang magic power and forcibly merged the black fire seed with his son's blood. As the blood merged with the fire seed, the rising black flames gradually subsided, eventually condensing into a thumb-sized red fire seed. Right after, Lu Changxing enveloped his son's body with mana, signaling him to start the next step. Yes. Lu Lingxiao's skin was red and burning hot, with sweat beads covering his forehead. He looked at the fire seed before him, hesitated for a moment, and then clenched his teeth and swallowed it. Ah! The next moment, Lu Lingxiao's eyes bulged, and his sharp-contoured handsome face immediately twisted ferociously. Pain. It was excruciating. The black fire seed entered his body and in an instant, a scorching and violent surge of black flame, like magma, poured into his limbs and bones. Had it not been for his father's mana protecting his body, he felt he would have been burnt to ashes in an instant. Even so, it still felt as if there was an additional furnace of flame within him. The intensely fierce black flames flowed like magma, burning and searing every inch of his flesh, skin, muscles, and even spiritual power, causing unbearable pain. Fortunately, there was a gentle warm current that dissipated much of the heat, sparing him from such agony. Ling Zixiao watched this scene without making a sound. But in her bright eyes, there was a bit of tension and worry. Sar the novel_fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The process of refinement of the heavenly spiritual fire is extremely dangerous. A slight mishap could lead to backlash from the fire seed, at lightest causing severe injury or near death, at worst turning one into ashes. Like this black flame, inherently fierce and scorching, it's not something an energy-refining cultivator could withstand. If it weren't for Lu Changxing, no matter how gifted, an energy-refining cultivator could only dream of subduing and refining it. Shower, cultivate. Lu Changxing helped his son suppress and refine the black flame. Yes. Lu Lingxiao's voice was a bit hoarse and dry as he fully engaged the fire-absorbing technique. Hum hum hum. As the heavenly spiritual fire circulated through Lu Lingxiao's meridians, his dragon roar physique slowly woke up, with a fierce and intense yang energy rising and spreading, suppressing the black flames. However, Lu Changxing could clearly sense that this dragon roar of yang energy had flaws, and was inferior to his own. But it's still okay. Lu Changxing muttered to himself upon seeing this scene. Although the dragon roar physique had its flaws, it still had the effect it was supposed to have. Lu Lingxiao also realized that his spiritual body was helping to refine the black flames. And as the black flames circulated through his body, there seemed to be some inexplicable changes. However, at this moment, his body was so hot and prickly that he had no time to pay attention to this. And so, time trickled by. Lu Lingxiao's body was glowing red, enveloped in a fiercely hot black flame light. The yin-yang magic power steadily protected Lu Lingxiao's body, meridians, dantian, and internal organs. The Tai True water then gently nourished every inch of his flesh and skin that was tormented and scorched by the heat. It was hard to tell how much time had passed, but gradually the fire subsided. Inside Lu Lingxiao's Qi ocean core, a black fire seed slowly circled. This origin flame seed, under the fusion with dragon roar of yang energy, within the depths of its pitch-black flames, seemed to glow with a hint of gold. Lu Lingxiao gasped heavily, his mouth dry and his lips parched. However, his heart was filled with immense joy, knowing that the most painful stage had been endured. What followed was to completely refine the origin flame seed into his physical body. During this process, his 100 refinements treasure body art began to operate wildly, causing the magical treasure's origin in his chest to flow out continuously, merging into his internal organs and limbs and bones. Phew! Ling Zixiao, who was beside him, also let out a sigh of relief upon seeing her son's condition. Knowing that her son had crossed the most difficult step. Even though the next steps were still dangerous, with Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoge being there, they were not a concern anymore. Time passed slowly. It was unclear how much time had gone by when Lu Lingxiao finally refined the black fire seed. Boom! His physical body surged with a fiercely hot, destructive, and dilapidated aura of black flames. Simultaneously, Lu Lingxiao's chi blood within his body surged like breaching rivers, forming a dazzling pillar of rainbow light, with a flow of treasure's brilliance. Lu Changxing knew that this was his son's 100 refinements treasure body technique breaking through from the 4th layer to the 5th layer. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1188, Dad, Mother, Auntie. Lu Lingxiao's eyes opened, his pupils bursting with twin beams of golden light, emitting an overwhelmingly strong aura. His tall and upright body burned with an obscure black flame, adding a touch of coldness, majesty, and dominance to his entire being. Not bad. Lu Changxing looked at his son's condition, nodding his head in satisfaction. Through refining the heavenly spiritual fire, not only has his son washed the marrow and shaved the hair, breaking through to the 2nd rank in body refinement, but his foundation has also advanced further. Shower, this spiritual fire has yet to be named, you should give it a name yourself. Ling Zixiao, with her bright and clear eyes, observed the black flame burning on her son's body and said with a light chuckle. There are numerous kinds of heavenly spiritual fires. Apart from a few well-known ones, most remain unnamed. After a moment of contemplation, Lu Lingxiao said, this spiritual fire brims with a sense of destruction and havoc, why not call it Devastation Flame? Devastation Flame, that's quite good. Ling Zixiao smiled faintly. Shower, you should go back and rest well for now, and after some time, you can begin challenging the foundation establishment. Lu Changxing said to his son Lu Lingxiao. His son had just finished refining the devastation flame and was in a very weak state, needing good rest. Yes, Dad. Mother, Auntie, I take my leave. The flames on Lu Lingxiao's body slowly dissipated, his skin appeared dehydrated and somewhat cracked, like that of a shedding snake, revealing an old layer of skin. This was the physical body experiencing a transformation inside out, a true marrow cleansing, metamorphosis to a higher form. Thank you for your hard work, my lord, Miaoge. At this moment, Ling Zixiao also spoke to Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoge. We're all family, Sister Ling, there's no need for such formalities. Lu Miaoge said with a soft smile. The group chatted with laughter for a while, then Lu Changsheng, accompanied by Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoge, began preparing the medicinal bath. This method of concocting a medicinal bath had long been taught to Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoge. However, this time the medicinal bath was extraordinary, using the blood essence of a 3rd-rank demon king as the main ingredient, requiring his supervision. At the same time, an announcement was made by the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family to the outside world. They stated that they possess a 2nd-order alchemist capable of refining foundation establishment elixirs with a special monster core and guaranteed the formation of at least one pill. If unsuccessful, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family would provide full compensation. Not only is the refining service free, but Blue Lake Mountain Lu family is also offering cultivators, including loose cultivators, cave mansion facilities for attempting foundation establishment. Simply provide 3,000 spirit stones or agree to serve as a visiting noble servant at Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, and you could attempt foundation establishment there. No sooner had this news been released than it spread rapidly like a whirlwind, drawing numerous discussions. The announcement was shocking. In the entire Jianghu country cultivation realm, other than the 4 great immortal sects, only Danxia Mountain and the 3 great immortal cities have such alchemists. Ordinary cultivators seeking to have foundation establishment elixirs refined would typically need to travel to one of the 3 great immortal cities. For energy refining cultivators who have somehow gathered the materials for a foundation establishment elixir, the journey to the three great immortal cities is far, and the risk of being attacked along the way is a concern. Moreover, even in the three great immortal cities, obtaining an audience with these alchemists and hiring someone to perform the alchemy requires the right connections and wealth. But now, with Blue Lake Mountain Lu family offering free alchemy, guaranteed pill formation, and providing a place for breakthroughs, the offer is simply enticing. Especially for some family forces. They have by chance obtained heavenly spirit fruits or special monster cores but have been afraid to visit the immortal cities. Having the option of Blue Lake Mountain Lu family nearby makes things much simpler. Nevertheless, many people remain skeptical and suspicious of the announcement. What? Blue Lake Mountain Lu family has a second-order alchemist capable of refining foundation establishment elixirs and even guarantees at least one successful pill? No wonder Blue Lake Mountain and Jianghu Mountain have produced several foundation establishment great cultivators in recent years. Turns out they have such an alchemist in the family. Such a top-tier alchemist not seeking fame in the immortal cities but hiding away in the small Blue Lake Mountain Lu family? My third aunt's cousin's sister is a concubine of the Lu family patriarch, and I heard that this alchemist is also one of Lu Changsheng's concubines. What? Such an alchemist being someone's concubine? How charismatic must this Lu family patriarch be? Damn it, what kind of love luck has Lu Changsheng stumbled upon? Remember, his wife is a top-tier formation master, and now he has a top-tier alchemist. I wonder if this is true. Has any Daoist tried it out? If I go there, Blue Lake Mountain won't rob and kill me, right? If Blue Lake Mountain dares to make this announcement, it probably won't be false. Right. Blue Lake Mountain tends to act honorably, valuing reputation, and wouldn't tarnish their name for such a slight. In the vicinity of Blue Lake Mountain, countless people discussed the matter, generating a buzz about the event. And the news continued to spread, quickly reaching throughout the Qingyun region. After all, Blue Lake Mountain has quite a reputation in the Qingyun region boundary, enjoying a period of great prominence. Sarch * The Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Now that a rare alchemist capable of producing foundation establishment elixirs had emerged in the family, they naturally attracted immediate attention. At the Lu family of Jianghu Mountain. Refining foundation establishment elixirs, Blue Lake Mountain Lu family does indeed have an alchemist who can refine them. Lu Yuanzhong and others thought to themselves upon hearing the news. In earlier years, when Lu Changsheng had sold foundation establishment elixirs at a bargain, they had harbored suspicions. Refining foundation establishment elixirs, Lu Yuanding, with his hair grayed by time, sat in the courtyard, hearing the news without much concern. To see Jianghu Mountain reach such heights was enough for him. He was content and no longer worried about family affairs, not considering seeking any advantage from Blue Lake Mountain before death. Moreover, doing such a thing would be detrimental to the relationship between the two families. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1189. Besides, there's Qing Shan and Xianer. Lu Yuanding gazed at the figure before him, clad in green robes, with a handsome visage and the air of a humble gentleman, Lu Qingxian, his eyes old and cloudy, revealing a touch of gratified amusement. His eldest grandson, Lu Qingshan, harbored a deep affection for Jianghu Mountain, and with him there, it was certain that the mountain would receive protection should it face great peril in the future. The young grandson before him, Lu Qingxian, had yet not come of age. But after asking his daughter Lu Miaoga, he knew this grandson possessed a third-grade spiritual root. With such talent, he believed that under Lu Changsheng's tutelage, Xianer would certainly reach foundation establishment and make significant progress in his cultivation. Given Lu Qingshuan's character, as long as there were no major breaches of principle within the family, he would not sit idly by and watch Jianghu Mountain decline. So, not to speak of Lu Miaoga, Lu Miaohuan, Lu Miaoyun, Lu Pingan and others, just these two grandsons alone could safeguard Jianghu Mountain for 200 years. 200 years, Lu Yuanding murmured to himself, imagining the day when his grandson, Lu Qingshan, would become a nascent soul immortal. Although the chances of Lu Qingxian, with his third-grade spiritual root, reaching core formation were slim. Given his son-in-law Lu Changsheng's abilities, it was not impossible. Moreover, even if he did not become a nascent soul immortal, there was still a considerable chance he would achieve false core immortal status in the future. "Grandfather, what's the matter?" Lu Qingxian, seeing his grandfather's smiling gaze upon him, set down the book in hand and asked in a refined and elegant manner. "Nothing much, grandfather, was just thinking about some happy things." "Where has Chier gone?" Lu Yuanding, his aged face full of wrinkles, chuckled as he spoke. "Sister Wang Shu came by yesterday, and sister went out to have fun with her." Lu Qingxian spoke in a gentle voice that felt as comforting as a spring breeze. Although his sister came to Qingzhou Mountain to accompany their grandfather, her active nature meant she often ran about here and there. "Xiener, you should also interact more with your siblings in the family," Lu Yuanding gently advised his grandson. 100 Birds Lake, by family. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If Blue Lake Mountain can refine foundation establishment elixirs, I wonder if there are any spare ones that our family could request. Upon hearing this news, Bai Yunyang, the Bai family ancestor, pondered to himself. Back then, when the 4 major families dominated and Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain was replaced by the Lu family, it has since become a renowned foundation establishment clan within the Qingyun region. Qingzhou Mountain, due to its connection with Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, now also has 3 foundation establishment cultivators as its stronghold. Wugong Ridge Jing family has been thoroughly reduced to a vassal of Yu Shui Su family. Despite their association with Blue Lake Mountain and Qingzhou Mountain and benefiting from their successes, the 100 Birds Lake Bai family has never been able to obtain a foundation establishment elixir. Over the past decades, there have been 2 people in the family who, supported by Meridian protecting elixirs and foundation establishment spirit objects, attempted to achieve foundation establishment, but both failed, leaving the whole family with only him as its guardian. Now, hearing this news, he thought about swallowing his pride and appealing to the goodwill of the 2 families for a foundation establishment elixir. "Ah Ming, send a message to Feifei right away to verify this news," Bai Yunyang ordered. After saying this, he immediately stepped out of his cave mansion, adding, "No, I'll personally go to Bai Lake Mountain." Many families had similar thoughts as Bai Yunyang. They all realized that if Blue Lake Mountain had such an alchemist, they would have been secretly purchasing special monster cores over the years for refining foundation establishment elixirs. Thus, they contemplated spending spirit stones or offering heavenly and earthly treasures in exchange for a foundation establishment elixir. Golden Dragon Ridge, Jin family. Blue Lake Mountain. Upon hearing the news, the patriarch of the Jin family immediately convened a family meeting. Because he was acutely aware of the gravity of the situation. The Lu family guaranteed a successful pill formation for 1 pill. However, no one can be sure of the exact number of successful pill formations during the alchemical process. If there are 2 successful pills, one of them would belong to Blue Lake Mountain. In this case, Blue Lake Mountain would essentially have a continuous source of foundation establishment elixirs. Particularly when he learned that Blue Lake Mountain was willing to provide loose cultivators with a venue for foundation establishment, requiring only a payment of 3,000 spirit stones, or to serve as a visiting noble servant in the Lu family. Such an offer is the dream of countless loose cultivators. If this continues, within a few years, the power of Blue Lake Mountain will likely soar at a terrifying rate. Damn it, where did Lu Changsheng get this top-tier alchemist from? With such an alchemist, in at most 20 years, Blue Lake Mountain will grow into a behemoth. What to do? Should we consider assassinating this alchemist? How could Lu Changsheng not protect such an alchemist well? In the council hall, the Jin family's high-ranking members all wore grim expressions. Although Golden Dragon Ridge seemed to have no deep hatred with Blue Lake Mountain, their past actions of suppression and provocation had already created grudges between the 2 families. This enmity was almost impossible to resolve. So they all understood that once Blue Lake Mountain's strength amassed enough, they would certainly settle the old scores with the Jin family. Should we inform the family patriarch and have him make a decision? Someone suggested at that moment. No, the family patriarch is currently concentrating on nurturing his magical treasures. If he hears this news, I'm afraid, I'm afraid it will affect his cultivation. The patriarch of the Jin family immediately rejected the suggestion. After their family patriarch was nearly overpowered by demon cultivators during his fight with Lu Changsheng and his wife, he was almost beset by a heart demon. Now, just hearing anything related to Lu Changsheng was enough to disturb his peace of mind. Hearing this news might truly drive him to ambush and kill Lu Changsheng or that alchemist. Damn it, if only our family patriarch hadn't been killed by a demon cultivator, with 2 false core immortals from our Jin family holding the fort, we wouldn't have to fear a Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. A Jin family elder spoke bitterly. The Jin family collected resources for decades, finally waiting for Jin Zan to break through to false core, bringing the family to its peak. But before they could start reveling in their newfound status, their family patriarch was killed by a demon cultivator in Huji Ridge, resulting in severe damage to the family's vitality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1190. As the years have passed, the Jin family has still not recovered from the pain of the past. There's no hurry regarding this matter. I'll first send someone to investigate this alchemist's information to verify the situation. Moreover, it's not only our Jin family who is anxious about this. The other major families are unlikely to want to see Bai Lake Mountain continue to grow like this. The patriarch of the Jin family said in a deep voice. Indeed, Lu Changsheng and his wife, Lu Miaoga, from Bai Lake Mountain, are already equivalent to a false core immortal. Nobody wants to see their family continuously produce foundation establishment cultivators. The main issue is that Lu Changsheng has grown too quickly. His rise has been too smooth. In any case, we absolutely cannot allow the Lu family to continue to grow in this manner. I have heard that the Lu family has established a trade association. This move is likely also to lay the groundwork for the association. With such alchemists, countless family forces would want to form ties with Bai Lake Mountain. The senior members of the Jin family discussed animatedly, realizing that although the Lu family's news is showy, sticking out from the flock, it also brings countless benefits to the family. After all, even if all families know that Bai Lake Mountain is on the rise, as long as there are no direct conflicts of interest, no one wants to tear their face off with Bai Lake Mountain and confront them directly. CTH Novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ordinary foundation establishment families wouldn't concern themselves with whether Bai Lake Mountain rises or not. Now, they would only actively seek to build good relations with Bai Lake Mountain and try to gain benefits as much as they can. Moreover, with such established relations, they wouldn't provoke Bai Lake Mountain in the future and avoid bringing about the disaster of extinction. Sigh. After a long discussion among the high-ranking members of the Jin family, they realized that the most urgent concern for their family is the rise of Bai Lake Mountain, and all fell into silence. Bai Lake Mountain. In recent times, many family forces and even loose cultivators have been visiting Bai Lake Mountain to verify the matter of producing foundation establishment elixirs and possibly wishing to purchase a foundation establishment elixir. In this matter, Lu Changsheng did not involve himself, instead fully delegating it to his son, Lu Xingyang. However, whenever a foundation establishment ancestor visits, Lu Miaoyun, the prominent lady of the Lu family aside from Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoga, and Ling Zixiao of the elder foundation establishment generation, would still come out to receive them. Facing these visitors, Lu Miaoyun and Lu Xingyang affirmed that everything was true. They will offer a foundation establishment cave abode to those who came to perform alchemy, provided their background is clear, and Bai Lake Mountain would keep it confidential. However, during the foundation establishment process, if any enemy attacks and causes the foundation establishment to fail, Bai Lake Mountain would not be responsible. As for those wanting to purchase a foundation establishment elixir, Lu Miaoyun uniformly declared that they had none. She very clearly understood that at this time, if the Lu family were to produce a foundation establishment elixir, countless people would swarm here, demanding the elixir for various reasons. It might even attract some bloodthirsty heretic cultivators who would come to kidnap the Lu family's disciples, among others. Taking this opportunity, Lu Miaoyun also declared that their family was in long-term acquisition of materials and spiritual objects for producing foundation establishment elixirs. and she posted a purchasing order. It indicated that if anyone had rare items listed on the purchasing order, by Lake Mountain would be willing to prioritize trading with them if they have Foundation Establishment elixirs in the future. Although this is akin to drawing a pie in the sky. Yet, with the allure of the Foundation Establishment elixirs and thinking of offering a favor, many still took note of the purchasing order content, planning to return and keep an eye out to help. Lu Changxing was not very aware of these external matters and did not pay much attention to them. After roughly preparing the medicinal bath for Lu Pingan, Lu Lingxiao, and others, he instructed Ling Zixiao to take a mountain and river cauldron to upgrade the Biyun Peak spiritual vein. Then, he went to the alchemy room to start teaching Li Xingrua how to produce Foundation Establishment elixirs. The news of producing Foundation Establishment elixirs being shared could not mean all such elixirs would be refined by him alone. Hence, it was necessary to teach Li Xingrua. In the cultivation world, few people could craft Foundation Establishment elixirs, not because crafting them is incredibly difficult. It's because the practice cost of Foundation Establishment elixirs is too high, with materials being too rare, effectively discouraging 90% of alchemists. However, Li Xingrua has decent talent in alchemy, already barely capable of producing second-order superior elixir medicines, and has seen Lu Changxing craft Foundation Establishment elixirs multiple times. With Lu Changxing's guidance, starting to practice now wouldn't result in too much loss. Inside the lakeside island alchemy room. 3 pill furnaces were situated, with Lu Changxing managing one furnace, directly refining 3 batches of elixir medicines. However, one batch was controlled by Li Xingrua, who observed Lu Changxing's process first and then tried it himself. With slight issues, Lu Changxing would speak out to instruct and attempt to remedy. Once the Biyun Peak spiritual vein ascends to becoming a second-order top grade, a tributary can be cultivated nearby, integrating the earthly malevolent fire vein into it, and this spirit mountain can be used to plant fire mulberry trees, golden fire vine trees, and also to construct an alchemy workshop. In this way, our family can manage to refine 9 batches of elixir medicines simultaneously. Lu Changxing stared at the pill furnace in front of him, which was fiercely burning with earth fire, contemplating inwardly. Operating 3 pill furnaces at the same time was not his limit. With his current level of divine sense, even refining 9 furnaces of elixir medicines simultaneously would not be a big problem. However, the main attribute of the Bai Lake Mountain spirit vein is water. The earth fire formation in this alchemy room at home really is limited in power, unable to support too much earth fire for the furnaces. And his Thunder Gang dragon flame is too fierce, only suitable for artifact refining, and not quite fit for alchemy. Xingrua, don't be nervous, this step needs to be smooth, otherwise, during the fusion process of the elixir, it's easy for the potency to become unbalanced. At this moment, Lu Changxing saw in Li Xingruo's pill furnace, under the intense flames, a Foundation Establishment elixir taking on an irregular formative shape, and he spoke out to advise. While speaking, he gently lifted his palm, helping her adjust the fire intensity, and casting multiple spells to allow the medicine to bake slowly and become rounded. Now by employing the elemental sealing alchemy technique to temper the elixir, temper each time for 3 breaths, pause for 9 breaths, totaling 81 times. Lu Changxing multitasked, controlling his own pill furnace while also advising Li Xingrua. Originally when he first obtained the second-rank alchemy, although Lu Changxing's alchemy skills were very skilled, he was still unable to do this effortlessly and magically. This was entirely the effect of his enhanced cultivation level, breaking through core formation, and awakening the Tai divine soul. If he were willing to spend the time, immersing himself to further his research in alchemy and puppetry techniques to ascend to the 3rd rank wouldn't be too hard. Li Xingrua, serious and focused, nodded, but was still a bit nervous. After all, this is a Foundation Establishment elixir we are talking about. One batch alone is worth tens of thousands of spirit stones. After a long time. Bang, the Foundation Establishment elixirs from the 3 pill furnaces are successfully produced. In the 2 pill furnaces in front of Lu Changxing, 6 Foundation Establishment elixirs appear, 3 top grade and 3 top quality. Li Xingrua, due to several issues occurring during the process, although remedied by Lu Changxing, ended up with only 2 inferior elixirs and 1 failed elixir. To be able to successfully produce 2 elixirs on your first attempt at refining Foundation Establishment elixirs, Xingrua, your talent in alchemy truly is exceptional. Lu Changxing said with a chuckle. Although the inferior Foundation Establishment elixirs only increase the probability of Foundation establishment by 10%. For a regular loose cultivator, they are still immensely priceless. If taken to the Red Leaf Valley market for an auction, they might fetch up to 10,000 spirit stones. So these 2 inferior Foundation Establishment elixirs are not too bad of a deal. Husband, stop teasing her. Li Xingrua is well aware that she was able to preserve these 2 inferior Foundation Establishment elixirs thanks to the continual corrections by Lu Changxing. Otherwise, how could she have even reached this pill formation stage? What I've said is the truth. Just a few more batches and my Xingrua will definitely be able to produce top-quality Foundation Establishment elixirs. Lu Changsheng's voice was gentle, with a smile on his face. Li Xingrua, looking at Lu Changsheng's exceptionally handsome face, her eyes full of admiration, affection, and sweetness, softly nodded. Now that the elixirs are made, we can also start the Foundation Establishment. Lu Changsheng collected the Foundation Establishment elixirs in his hand, exhaling softly, somewhat looking forward to the advanced draw after his 10 children's Foundation establishment. However, just at this moment, a system notification sounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host, 20 offspring have broken through the 9th level energy refinement, obtaining 1 lottery opportunity. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1191, Jianghu Country, a certain small marketplace. Azure Phoenix Immortal City has a new city lord. True Immortal White Peak is suspected to have been killed by a demonic path cultivator. No wonder the bunch of sword-crazed folks from Heavenly Sword Sect are acting like they've lost their minds. A beautiful woman dressed in a black gauze skirt, with a heavenly face and a demonically enchanting figure, narrowed her long, slender phoenix eyes as she read the information on the jade slip in her hand. This woman was none other than Nangong Meili, disguised by the misty sky bead. She came to Jianghu Country on a mission, thinking to settle her scores with Lu Changxing on the side. Who would have known that she would be ambushed by Heavenly Sword Sect when crossing the border of Jianghu Country? If not for the misty sky bead, this exotic treasure for concealment, she almost perished en route. It was for this reason that upon entering Jianghu Country, she was extremely careful and cautious, immediately contacting the undercover agents of 5 Poisons cult within Jianghu Country's cultivation realm to understand the situation and find out what happened. Which power has done this, to dare commit such an act? Isn't this a slap in the face of Heavenly Sword Sect? Nangong Meili's phoenix eyes were deep and enthralling. Although she had not heard of this new city lord of Azure Phoenix Immortal City, True Immortal White Peak, she knew that anyone capable of becoming the city lord of Azure Phoenix Immortal City was definitely not simple. You should know that this immortal city is located at the border of Jianghu Country and Yu Country. Without the consent of Heavenly Sword Sect, it would be difficult for this person to secure the position. Now that the city lord had taken office not long ago, he was killed within Jianghu Country's territory by a demonic path cultivator, naturally incensing Heavenly Sword Sect. Could the news about Tianyuan's secret realm originate from this power, intending to stir up trouble in Jianghu Country? If that's the case, the waters of Tianyuan's secret realm might be deeper than the sect hierarch has described, and at this moment, a heaven and earth net might already be prepared. Nangong Meili pondered with a slightly grave expression on her face. Although she came to Jianghu Country mainly for Lu Changxing, she didn't want to miss the opportunity of Tianyuan's secret realm either. Even if she couldn't gain the fortunes of the secret realm, as long as she could obtain useful information, the mission could still bring her substantial benefits. After pondering for a long time, Nangong Meili gently lifted her hand and another jade slip appeared, her divine sense checking the information inside. Lu Changxing, Qingyun Region, Master of Bihu Mountain, 2nd grade Talisman Master, 2nd Order Alchemist, cultivator at the mid-stage of Foundation Establishment, but relying on the inheritance of the Talisman Path, his strength is far beyond the ordinary, practicing the dual cultivation technique with his wife Lu Miaoga. His combat power is comparable to that of a false core immortal. He and his wife once defeated the great elder of the Jin family from Golden Dragon Ridge, who had just broken through to false core, this man has a total of 7 wives and 49 concubines. More than 200 sons and daughters, among which there is a son named Lu Qingshan, who is apprenticed under the Tianyuan true immortal of Jianghu sect in Yu country, and is one of the nascent soul seeds of Jianghu sect. Nangong merely read the jade slip with information about Lu Changsheng's appearance, and for some reason, the more she read, the more irritated she became. Her slender, jade-like hands' veins popped up, her face as cold as frost, full of chilliness. Nangong Mili has always disliked sharing, preferring to monopolize everything. Even if in her heart, she had no involvement with Lu Changsheng, seeing the multitude of his wives, concubines, and children, she still couldn't suppress the annoyance and discomfort welling up within her. No wonder this man hasn't come to the 5 Poisons cult to inquire over the years. Not showing half the concern for Xiao Chan, not even a single letter to care for and inquire about the situation. Turns out he has so many tender wives and beautiful concubines at home, as well as children. Such a faithless and heartless man deserves to die. Nangong Mili's eyes were like water, cold and piercing. Although she doesn't consider having dozens of wives as too many, this sort of behavior is simply irritating to her. It's like her own toy has been taken by others. Especially feeling angry about her own disciple Meng Xiaoquan's ordeal. Over the years, although she hadn't said much, she could clearly see that her disciple Meng Xiaochan was always thinking of Lu Changsheng. If it wasn't for her restraining, making her disciple take care of Nangong Yao Yao for a long time, it's possible that Meng Xiaochan would have secretly run to Jianghu country to find Lu Changsheng by now. All men should die. Nangong Mili cursed again, her stunning face like an iceberg, unspeakably cold. Afterward, Nangong Mili took out the map of Jianghu country's cultivation realm's power distribution, searching for the location of Bihu Mountain. When she saw the location of Bihu Mountain, her eyebrows furrowed. Bihu Mountain is so close to Qingyun sect. Nangong Mili's brows were tightly knitted. Heavenly Sword sect is currently hunting down nascent soul immortals attracted by Tianyuan's secret realm all over the place. Jianghu country's 4 great immortal sects are definitely in a state of high alert, especially since Qingyun sect is now surely on full alert. Especially with Tianyuan's secret realm located at the boundary between Qingyun sect and Wuxia sect, venturing deeply into the region controlled by Qingyun sect right now is extremely dangerous. Moreover, snatching Lu Changsheng away would be easy, but it would be very difficult to leave Jianghu country with him safely. Besides, the brief interaction in the past and the golden core charm, as well as this misty sky bead he nurtured for her, made her feel Lu Changsheng was not simple. He is absolutely not as simple as the information recorded on this jade slip, merely at the mid-stage of Foundation establishment. CTH novel_fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. That dog of a man broke through the mid-stage of Foundation establishment with my profound jade liquid back then. How could he still be at the mid-stage of Foundation establishment after so many years? Nangong Mili's phoenix eyes showed a complicated emotion as she murmured to herself while gently pursing her luscious red lips. With the misty sky bead, as long as I'm extra careful, I should be safe. First, take a look at Tianyuan's secret realm. If the situation is wrong, then give up immediately, and then go to Bihu Mountain. After pondering for a long time, Nangong Mili stood up, her body wrapped in a black gauze dress, revealing a demonically charming and perfectly exquisite figure. She was born loving beauty. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1192. Even though she used the misty sky bead to disguise her appearance, her figure and face remained stunningly beautiful, enchanting all beings. Nangong Mili put on a black veil to slightly cover her unearthly beautiful face, then gracefully walked out of the cave mansion with elegant steps. By Lake Mountain. 29th level energy refinement. Upon hearing the system notification, Lu Changsheng felt a surge of pure mana in his chi ocean core and couldn't help feeling emotional. For most Foundation establishment families, the 9th level of energy refinement constitutes advanced combat power. Families like Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake generally have just over a dozen cultivators at the 9th level of energy refinement. But now, among his children, there were already 20 at the 9th level of energy refinement. Who knows how many of these 20 will ultimately reach foundation establishment? Lu Changxing sighed deeply. Although no one in his family had ever failed at foundation establishment. However, he knew well that having all his children break through to foundation establishment is very difficult, nearly impossible. Like his son, Lu Yun, who had used a high-grade breakthrough elixir to advance from middle stage to late stage of energy refinement. This kind of situation affects their breakthrough to foundation establishment. Lu Yun's situation is not unique. Many of his children with low-quality spiritual roots had only managed to break through to the late stage of energy refinement by relying on high-grade breakthrough elixirs. They managed to reach the peak of qi refining before the age of 60 mostly by relying on consuming pills. After contemplating for a moment, Lu Changxing arrived at Blue Cloud Peak Summit and silently commanded, "System, draw a prize." A light red virtual roulette wheel appeared, then it swiftly began spinning. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Cultivation Technique, 5 Elements Union Sutra. The reward has been sent to system space. Host can view at any time. A crystal-clear jade scroll pattern appeared, accompanied by the system notification sound. A 5 Elements Technique? Lu Changxing raised an eyebrow, looking towards the system space for the details of this cultivation technique. Cultivation Technique, 5 Elements Union Sutra, Grade, Orthodox Level. Description: the signature cultivation technique of the 5 Elements sect, circulating the 5 elements endlessly, gathering the great 5 Elements wheel, 5 Elements parasol, forming the 5 Elements battle formations. Just a 5 Elements technique, Lu Changxing felt immediately disinterested upon seeing this cultivation technique. Although the family needs techniques to build up its foundation. At this stage, however, the family doesn't actually need such top-tier techniques. Instead, they need more advanced, exquisite level, or even peripheral sect-level techniques. Because it's too strenuous for cultivators with lower-grade spiritual roots to cultivate orthodox-level techniques. Exquisite-level techniques are more suitable for them. Even though, the 7 Luminaries' Great Freedom Sword Scripture was divided into 7 exquisite-level sword techniques. But currently, few of the Lu family disciples have the temperament compatible with the sword techniques. Therefore, Lu Changxing has always wanted a few more techniques similar to the 7 Luminary Sword Scripture. Inherit. Lu Changxing's mental spirit stirred slightly, and he applied the 5 Elements Union Sutra. Immediately, the content, key points, and insights of this technique poured into Lu Changxing's mind like enlightening nectar. After a long while, Lu Changxing opened his eyes, his face filled with joy. Good, good. Good, the system finally did well this time. Lu Changxing was delighted. He had just been thinking about obtaining a few techniques like the 7 Luminary Sword Scripture. Sir, the novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. And this 5 Elements Union Sutra indeed seems similar to the 7 Luminary Sword Scripture, containing 5 subsidiary techniques. They are Metal Light Essence Condensing Technique, Wood Armor Essence Condensing Technique, Heavy Water Essence Condensing Technique, Separation Fire Essence Condensing Technique, and Earth Solid Essence Condensing Technique. All these 5 techniques are exquisite level techniques. However, unlike most exquisite level techniques, these 5 can only be cultivated up to the foundation establishment stage, with no hope of core formation. To break through to core formation, one must cultivate multiple techniques. According to the cycle of the 5 elements, where metal fosters water, water fosters wood, wood fosters fire, fire fosters earth, earth fosters metal. Cultivators of the Metal Light Essence Condensing Technique, after reaching foundation establishment, can dual cultivate Black Water Essence Condensing Technique, thereby enhancing their foundational essence. Once the Black Water Essence Condensing Technique reaches great success, they can then dual cultivate Wood Armor Essence Condensing Technique to continue building their foundational essence. After dual cultivating 2 techniques, there's hope to break through to core formation. If one can cultivate all 5 techniques, forming a cycle of the 5 elements, this can significantly increase the likelihood of core formation. This is also the reason this technique makes advancing from qi refining to foundation establishment very easy, increasing the chance by 20 or 30% compared to ordinary techniques. But after reaching foundation establishment, trying to achieve core formation is as hard as ascending to heaven. Regarding core formation, with the 5 elements mana circulating, one can seamlessly switch to cultivating the 5 Elements Union Sutra. The 5 Elements sect created these 5 techniques, not only to lower the threshold of the technique so that more disciples can cultivate, but another reason is to enhance the collective combat power of the sect. After minor accomplishment in cultivating the 5 Elements Union Sutra, one can condense a 5 Elements wheel, forming a 5 Elements battle formation with cultivators who practice these 5 techniques. This kind of battle formation shares some similarities with the Daoist soldier battle formation. It could even be said that these 5 techniques are intended to train ordinary disciples as Dao soldiers, hence it's easier initially and more challenging later. If someone truly has extraordinary talent and manages to cultivate all 5 techniques to break through to core formation, the sect will naturally be willing to invest heavily in their training. Although it's almost impossible to achieve core formation while cultivating these 5 techniques, the probability of breaking through to foundation establishment from qi refining is increased by 20 or 30% compared to ordinary techniques. Even those with low-quality spiritual roots, as long as they cultivate these 5 techniques and have the aid of foundation establishment elixirs, have a 50 to 60% chance of breaking through to foundation establishment. Lu Changxing took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. This technique's advantages and disadvantages are very clear. It sacrifices the later stages for the sake of the earlier stages. Unless one has extraordinary talent and great fortune, it's nearly impossible to cultivate all 5 techniques and break through to core formation. Usually, those with such talent would not choose to cultivate these kinds of techniques. Great 5 Elements Wheel, 5 Elements Battle Formation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1193. I've heard that when an invasion war breaks out in the cultivation world, the Immortal sects would train loose cultivators and family forces, teaching them battle formations, enabling loose cultivators to form battle formations to enhance their combat strength. Lu Changxing muttered to himself. As for battle formations, he had only heard about them and had a rough understanding, not clear on the details. Now, through this 5 Elements Union Sutra, he had gained a bit more insight. Ordinarily, a foundation establishment cultivator would have no chance of defeating a nascent soul immortal. However, a foundation establishment cultivator who cultivates the 5 Elements Union Sutra, when joined by a dozen or so cultivators practicing the 5 associated cultivation techniques to form a 5 Elements battle formation, combining all their mana, might possibly contend with nascent soul immortals. If they encounter a nascent soul immortal without magical treasures or divine skills, or perhaps even a false core, it's not impossible for a reversal where foundation establishment defeats core formation. These 5 cultivation techniques can be placed in the Sutra Pavilion of the family as a priority choice for those with low-quality spiritual roots. Lu Changxing looked at the vast, misty Bai Shui lake and exhaled lightly. Core formation was, barring a miracle, an extremely remote possibility even for those with middle-grade spiritual roots, let alone low-quality ones. While cultivating this technique might sever the path to core formation, at least it would increase the odds of foundation establishment. If one can't succeed at foundation establishment, then what's the point of even talking about core formation? Moreover, Lu Changxing never felt that just by his being there, all his children could break through to foundation establishment. Even though the family isn't short on foundation establishment elixirs now, he couldn't possibly give every child multiple chances at foundation establishment. After one attempt, if foundation establishment fails, they need to rely on their efforts and performance. After all, not lacking foundation establishment elixirs doesn't mean the family has enough spirit stones for everyone to spend without limit. Besides his own children, grandchildren are also starting to cultivate, and they too need resources. He can't support everyone fully. Nor does he have the capability or the time and energy. I wonder how this 5 Elements Union Sutra compares to the legacy technique of the 5 Elements royal family. At this moment, Lu Changxing suddenly thought of the 5 Elements royal family, one of the 3 nascent soul great clans in the Jianghu country. The core formation old ancestor of the Wang family had once shaken the Jiang country with the name of the five elements. If someone in my family is born with a five elements physique and cultivates this five elements union sutra, wouldn't the name of the five elements fall to my Lu family in the future? Lu Changxing stroked his chin, finding the idea of someone in his family shaking the world with the technique and magical powers of the five elements quite amusing. Though, if that day does come, I reckon the name of the five elements royal family would no longer exist. Lu Changxing chuckled lightly and shook his head. The five elements royal family is in decline now. He had heard that ever since the elder ancestor of the Su family devastated their sect, their prestige plummeted. Over the years, the family's territory has been gradually encroached upon by other forces. He guessed once the core formation old ancestor of the Wang family dies, the entire family might struggle to maintain its status as a great clan. Lu Changxing went to check on his children's medicinal bath progress in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. Lu Pingan was still undergoing the medicinal bath initiation, hoping to directly break through to the 8th level of the 100 refinements treasure body art through it. Lu Lingxiao had a very solid foundation and was still refining his body through the medicinal bath initiation. Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, Lu Qingsong, and Lu Xingchen had already finished their medicinal bath initiation. Such medicinal bath initiations aren't necessarily better the longer they last. After reaching a certain limit, it becomes difficult to absorb more of the medicinal properties. Even more so, accumulating too much medicinal energy in the body that cannot be refined could damage oneself. Who will go first? Lu Changxing looked at his children in front of him and asked aloud. To ensure his children successfully reach foundation establishment, he would naturally lend a hand with his yin-yang origin source. But the recovery of the yin-yang origin source takes time. Therefore, foundation establishment can't be done all at once, it needs to be done one by one. The four looked at each other before Lu Qingsong stepped forward and said solemnly, "Father, let me go first." "Good." Lu Changxing glanced at Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, who were still somewhat nervous, and nodded. CTH Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He then handed a top-grade foundation establishment elixir to Lu Qingsong. Even though the latter had foundation establishment elixirs given by Lu Qingshan. But those were ordinary elixirs. And as a father, he couldn't just stop providing them because his son had elixirs of his own. "Thank you, father." Lu Qingsong took the foundation establishment elixir, sat cross-legged, began adjusting his condition, getting ready for foundation establishment. "You can watch from the side." Lu Changxing looked at Lu Yun and the other two and said aloud. "Yes, father." The three nodded in response. Although they knew the process of foundation establishment by heart, they still wanted to see how others performed foundation establishment and the details of the process as their turn approached. So just like that, time ticked by. Lu Qingsong quietly adjusted himself. This time was quite dull. Lu Changxing did not wait by his side but went to accompany his wives and concubines. Just asking Mount Sumeru to notify him once Lu Qingsong passed the 3 challenges of foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1194, Lu Family Mansion. Husband, during these days, a total of 3 people have come to refine foundation establishment elixirs. One of them is a loose cultivator named Luo Cheng, and we are still verifying his identity information. The other 2 are from the Yen family fort and the Pashan gang of the 5 Peaks market. Lu Miaoyan reported the recent family affairs to Lu Changxing. 3 of them, it seems they all have hidden their tracks well. Lu Changxing laughed softly upon hearing these words. He had thought it would take half a year or so before someone would come looking to have elixirs refined. Unexpectedly, 3 people had come knocking so quickly. If the reputation and word of mouth are fully established, his family can earn a fortune by refining foundation establishment elixirs. The Yen family fort can be given priority for arrangements. Once someone in their family achieves foundation establishment, they can help us by spreading the word. Lu Changxing continued, "What kind of force is this Pashan gang?" He was aware of the Yen family fort, a family force with 2 foundation establishment cultivators. But he had never heard of the Pashan Gang. The Pashan Gang is a loose cultivators guild in the Five Peaks market. The leader is called Chu Kuang, a foundation establishment cultivator. The guild members are all loose cultivators who make a living by hunting demon beasts. Lu Miaoyun, with a gentle and graceful appearance, said softly. I see. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. Such forces like the Pashan Gang can be accepted for refining foundation establishment elixirs, but we will not provide a breakthrough cultivation site for them. He had a rough understanding of forces like the Pashan Gang. They claim to unite for warmth, to team up to slay demons. But with such a group gathered, daily killings and robberies, including foul plays among themselves, may not be uncommon. Thus, offering them a cultivation site to break through to foundation establishment could invite unnecessary trouble. CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Miaoyun replied softly. At this time, Lu Changxing thought of the 2 inferior grade foundation establishment elixirs refined by Li Xingrua and summoned his son Lu Xingyang. A moment later, Lu Xingyang arrived in the main hall. He appeared to be in his 30s, dressed in a green robe, with a refined and gentle demeanor, and greeted with a clasped fist. This son has seen father, and all the lady mothers. Xingyang, how much time is left until the Red Leaf Valley market auction? Lu Changxing inquired. Father, there are 7 months left. Lu Xingyang replied immediately. 7 months. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest, saying, since that's the case, you should prepare well for this auction. Release some information to hint that there will be a foundation establishment elixir at the auction. Although the news of refining foundation establishment elixirs had been released, many forces were still observing. Therefore, Lu Changxing thought about striking while the iron was hot, adding fuel to the fire. This would not only attract those who were hesitant. It would also increase the traffic of the Red Leaf Valley market, enabling the sale of the family's inferior and common foundation establishment elixirs at a good price. Foundation establishment elixir. Lu Xingyang was slightly surprised when he heard this. As the patriarch of the Lu family, he was naturally privy to many secrets of the family. But still, he was surprised to hear about auctioning a foundation establishment elixir. After all, aside from the 3 great immortal cities, only top-tier marketplaces like the Qingyun market would possibly have foundation establishment elixirs. Ordinary marketplaces could not possibly have such elixirs. Yes, just one inferior grade foundation establishment elixir. You can arrange the rest yourself, Lu Changxing said. Foundation establishment elixirs are considered a strategic resource. Even if it is an inferior grade elixir, he would sell no more than one. The next one he plans to offer for sale in a few years or see if it's possible to exchange it for some rare heavenly and earthly treasures from someone else. Father, if such news is put out, it might attract some ill-intentioned people that could impact the market's public order and stability, Lu Xingyang said this. If a foundation establishment elixir is to be the finale of the auction, then the event must be organized well and prepared thoroughly. But if the scale is elevated, given the current state of Red Leaf Valley market, it would be difficult to maintain public order. Regarding public order, go find your sister Wang Shu and tell her not to run around these days. She should stay put at Red Leaf Valley market. And in a few months, the family will arrange for others to be stationed at the marketplace as well. After pondering for a while, Lu Changxing continued. Although his daughter Lu Wangshu had only been at foundation establishment for a little over a year, her life-bound divine talisman was already condensed, and with the profound origin bead, the 99 mysterious true strategy, alongside second-rank and third-rank talismans, she could fight even those in foundation establishment late stage, or even bombard them to death with talisman C tactics. So with this daughter stationed in Red Leaf Valley Market, their combat power was entirely sufficient. Moreover, with Lu Muping presiding over Red Leaf Valley Market, if any problems arose, Bihu Lake Mountain and Qingzhou Mountain could rush there at a moment's notice. Sister Wangshu, upon hearing this, Lu Xingyang's heart skipped a beat. He always felt that this sister was not so reliable. But since his father said so, he naturally had no objections and clasped his fist, understood, your son will make the arrangements. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. During this time, Lu Changxing mostly focused on procreation. But it was very difficult to bear offspring after core formation. Even with the 5 aggregates proliferation method, only one concubine was currently carrying a child. It's really not easy to have children after core formation. Lu Changxing shook his head and sighed. At the beginning, when he just achieved core formation, he also had relations with his wives and concubines. But he did not pay much attention to it at the time. Now, after a month of focus and effort in this area, to have only conceived one child, truly made Lu Changxing shake his head. Without bloodline talent, I suppose a nascent soul immortal wishing to have a child would need to prepare for several years. Lu Changxing thought to himself, feeling that if this were the case, being able to conceive so quickly was already quite fortunate. That time with Nangong Meili was simply a stroke of amazing luck. Master. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1195. Just at this moment, the voice of Mount Summer rang in Lu Changsheng's mind, indicating that Lu Qingsong had already passed the 3 challenges of foundation establishment and was preparing to condense his Dao foundation. Good. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing immediately went to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan were also in the Cave Heaven, paying close attention to Lu Qingsong's condition. Husband, father. Upon seeing Lu Changxing, they immediately called out to him. Lu Changxing nodded with a smile, then turned his gaze to Lu Qingsong, who was in the process of making his breakthrough in foundation establishment. Through the spiritual pressure vortex surrounding Lu Qingsong's body, Lu Changxing could tell that even if his son successfully established his foundation, the chances were high for a bedrock shatter foundation. This made him sigh inwardly. In his earlier years, he had given Lu Qingsong quite a number of elixir medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures to solidify his foundation. When Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu returned, they also gave him many valuable items, but the effects on his foundation establishment were still far from ideal. It could only be said that this son's talent was lacking, as were his innate abilities and comprehension, and then he spent too much time on various affairs. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing called out, signaling Mount Sumeru to stabilize the nature's spiritual energy. Then he activated the Yin-Yang creation scripture, and from his Qi ocean core, where the Yin-Yang great path golden core spiraled, a Yin-Yang fish emerged in his palm. Qingsong, concentrate your spirit, give your all to foundation establishment. Lu Changxing spoke with a grave voice, infusing the Yin-Yang source into his son's body. Boom! The moment this Yin-Yang energies entered Lu Qingsong's body, his elixir lake in the Qi ocean core boiled furiously, the spiritual pressure around his body surged violently, and he displayed an expression of agony. Fortunately, Mount Sumeru was there to help him stabilize the nature's spiritual energy, otherwise, the spiritual energy drawn by this spiritual pressure would have exceeded the limits his body could withstand. With such poor innate foundation, not only is the effect of the Yin-Yang source hard to fully manifest, it could even backfire. Lu Changxing inwardly sighed. Back in the day, Lu Wangshu improved his Dao foundation with the help of this Yin-Yang source. But for Lu Qingsong, it was an unbearable burden. It could only be said that as he made his breakthrough to core formation, the potency of the Yin-Yang source was far too intense for ordinary people to bear. At least a without-flaw foundation is needed for the effects of this Yin-Yang source to be fully brought out. Lu Changxing murmured in his heart, his divine sense focusing on his son's foundation establishment progress. Then he placed his palm on his shoulder, using the Yin-Yang source as a medium to help him condense his Dao foundation. Just like this, time slowly passed. Half a month later, inside Lu Qingsong's Qi ocean core, a Dao foundation covered in cracks slowly took shape. The Dao foundation radiated dazzling halos, bathing Lu Qingsong's body, making his physique glisten, suffused with the spiritual pressure of foundation establishment. Success. Foundation establishment succeeded. The nearby Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaohuan, Lu Yun, and others all showed excited expressions, as if inspired. Yet in his heart, Lu Changxing sighed. The novel fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In the past, he always criticized others for their lackluster foundation establishment. Now, his own children, one by one, had become what he once deemed unworthy of foundation establishment. Like Lu Qingsong, if it weren't for his help, it's feared that the Dao Foundation might have collapsed halfway through its condensation. If only he was a bit more capable, he could have condensed an imperfect foundation, rather than a bedrock shatter foundation. Father, Lu Qingsong opened his eyes, his face full of joy, but he looked at Lu Changxing with a hint of shame. During the foundation establishment process, he was acutely aware of the several times his Dao Foundation nearly collapsed and he almost failed the breakthrough. It was entirely due to his father using the yin-yang fish to forcefully condense his Dao Foundation. Hee, not bad, my Lu family has gained another foundation establishment cultivator. A cause for celebration indeed. Lu Changxing was not inclined to blame his son and said with a cheerful smile. After all, who wouldn't want to execute a foundation establishment well and condense a perfect foundation base? But with one's talent and capabilities being limited, one cannot ask for too much. Qingsong, congratulations on your breakthrough in foundation establishment. Congratulations, my son, on your foundation establishment. Congratulations, brother Qingsong. The people nearby voiced their congratulations. Regardless of the type of foundation base, making a breakthrough in foundation establishment is a joyous event worthy of celebration. Thank you, mother, aunt. Lu Qingsong said, then turned towards Lu Yun and the others to say, I merely went first. I wish you all an early congratulations on your successful foundation establishment, brother Yun, sister Caizhen, Xingqian, Ling Xiao. Qingsong, you've just broken through, solidify your realm well. Lu Changxing said gently. For a without flaw or perfect foundation base, once the breakthrough is made and the realm is stable, one only needs to consolidate it briefly. For such a bedrock shatter foundation base, which has just been broken through, it's important not to feel too excited or too saddened, not to use mana hastily, and to spend more time stabilizing the realm. Yes, father. Lu Qingsong nodded and quickly closed his eyes, running his cultivation technique, quietly experiencing the transformation and metamorphosis of breaking through the Dao Foundation. Lu Changxing also looked at the others, asking who would be the next to go. The four of them had already decided that Lu Lingxiao would be next. Immediately, Lu Lingxiao began his attempt at foundation establishment. He was already well prepared. After a brief moment of gathering his breath, he started the breakthrough process. The 3 challenges of foundation establishment were naturally a walk in the park for Lu Lingxiao. Previously, it took Lu Qingsong nearly a month to adjust his state and pass the 3 challenges of foundation establishment. Lu Lingxiao only took a day. This efficiency left Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Xingqian feeling somewhat dazed. They realized that the difference between people can sometimes be even greater than the difference between humans and monkeys. Huff, huff, huff. After passing the 3 challenges of foundation establishment, a surging tide of nature's spiritual energy converged towards Lu Lingxiao, forming a massive spiritual energy vortex. This spiritual energy vortex was 10 times that of Lu Qingsong's. No wonder there's such a big gap between foundation establishment cultivators. Lu Caizhen murmured softly. She knew there were differences in quality among foundation establishments. But she didn't have a clear understanding before. Now, witnessing the process of foundation establishment for both Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingxiao, she had a clear realization of it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1196, Ling Xiao is a spiritual body, so his foundation differs from ordinary people. Lu Changxing spoke to his children beside him, to prevent them from being disheartened. Spiritual body. No wonder, upon hearing this, everyone's faces showed sudden enlightenment. People like Lu Xingqian and Lu Lingxiao had not participated in the ceremony to measure the spiritual roots. Therefore, even among brothers and sisters, discussions about the talent of spiritual roots were rare. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing called out, asking Mount Sumeru to enhance the infusion of nature's spiritual energy into Lu Lingxiao. Then, he injected the newly regenerated yin-yang source into Lu Lingxiao's body. In comparison to Lu Qingsong, Lu Lingxiao possessed a robust foundation and second-order body refining capabilities, fully capable of withstanding the beneficial effects of this origin source. Despite this, Lu Lingxiao's sharply contoured face still showed an expression of pain, his muscles glowed with a slow burn of black fire, and the dragon roar of yang energy surged. This is what is truly called foundation establishment. Watching his son in this state, Lu Changxing nodded slightly in his heart. Knowing his son Lu Lingxiao's foundation, he understood that without much interference from himself, he could condense a perfect foundation base. 3 days later. Boom! Suddenly, a torrential and boundless surge of qi blood vitality flowed within Lu Changxing, causing a rhythmic throb in his entire body, and his 100 refinements treasure body art seemed to start autonomously, breaking through to the 10th layer. Sarch * The Oval Fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing knew this was because his son Lu Pingan's 100 refinements treasure body art had broken through the 8th level, which caused his own 100 refinements treasure body art, which was already on the verge of a breakthrough, to start breaking through autonomously. He immediately asked Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao to look after Lu Lingxiao. He, on a whim, needed to enter closed-door cultivation for a while. Alright, I'll take care of Ling Xiao here. Go, my lord. Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao immediately nodded in agreement. The inspirations of cultivators were mysterious and unpredictable. They could appear at any time. Capturing such moments could be very beneficial. Lu Changxing went to the Changxing Hall, within his own cave mansion, unleashed his physical restraint, and let the 100 refinements treasure body art operate autonomously. Roll, roll, roll. In a brief moment, within the cave mansion, endless resplendent treasure light erupted, like a volcanic explosion, shooting out from Lu Changxing's body. The cave heaven power from Mount Sumro isolated this burst of physical vitality for Lu Changxing. Otherwise, this commotion alone could flip over the Changxing Hall, affecting Lu Qingsong outside, who was consolidating his realm, and Lu Lingxiao who was making a breakthrough in foundation establishment. Roll, roll, roll. The qi blood roared and surged, growling incessantly, like thunderbolts from the 9 heavens exploding, rolling out and submerging the entire cave mansion. Lu Changxing could clearly see his own qi blood glowing with a golden luster, converging into his lower dantian like myriad rivers joining the sea. Then, like a pillar of a rainbow, it surged toward the middle dantian and upper dantian, causing the omnipotent and boundless dragon essence energy to hover over his head. His entire being resembled a primordial true dragon roaring, shrouded in a tide-like surge of qi blood and vitality. Clang, clang, clang. Sounds like a symphony of golden iron and horses resonated from within Lu Changxing's body, organs producing melodious harmonies like heavenly music, bones and meridians continuously reforged under the hammering. Congratulations to the host on 10 offspring breaking through to the foundation establishment stage, obtaining bloodline effect. Offspring's spiritual body inheritance rate increased by 1%, and receiving 1 advanced level lottery chance. In the midst of this process, Lu Changxing faintly heard a system notification. But he paid no attention to it, focusing solely on breaking through the 100 refinements treasure body art. Although his physical body had already reached the limit for a breakthrough, this process still required some time. Time ticked away. After half a month, Lu Changxing's eyes opened, as if they contained the rotation of the sun and the moon, emitting 2 divine beams. His body appeared flawless, his muscles gleaming and revealing a robust physique. Standing up, a layer of golden powder fell off his body. This was the impurity expelled during the breakthrough process. But such impurities could even be used to refine magic artifacts. Lu Changxing, feeling the immense increase in divine power throughout his body, extended his hand and pressed it towards the void. Bang! With a muffled sound, space slightly collapsed. Every breakthrough in body refinement brings an indescribable sense of fulfillment and security. A faint smile appeared on Lu Changxing's face. Although he knew the 10th layer of 100 refinements treasure body art wouldn't cause a qualitative change in his strength, the feeling of being filled with power from head to toe, invincible and robust, was quite delightful. After tidying up his robes and casting a cleansing technique, Lu Changxing walked out of the cave mansion. At that moment, thump, thump thump, thump thump thump, Lu Changxing suddenly heard a crisp and rhythmic knocking sound. Where is this sound coming from? Lu Changxing was slightly startled. The next instant, he remembered he had picked up a daughter, whom he had forgotten for a while. He immediately went to the side hall and opened the crystal coffin. Daddy! Binger heard Lu Changxing approaching, immediately came out of the coffin, revealing about half of her head, looking at him with clear, flawless eyes, seemingly saying she had slept enough and it had been a long time. Binger, Daddy was a bit busy with some things. Lu Changxing said apologetically, picking Binger out of the coffin. It's okay, Binger was waiting for Daddy. Binger held on to Lu Changxing like a little kitten, her beautiful eyes slightly squinted, snuggling into his arms, delicately sniffing with a look of comfort. Lu Changxing looked at Binger, who was so close to him, with an expression of helplessness. He felt that he could not always let Binger sleep in the coffin, nor did he have the heart to do so. Binger's temperament seems like it will get along with Linger and Xiaohe, right? Lu Changxing thought to himself, feeling it was necessary for Binger to blend into the family. This way, when he was unavailable, she could look for Bai Ling or Lu Lingyi to play. Binger, later I'll introduce you to a few sisters. When you're bored, you can go and play with them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1197, Lu Changxing rubbed the little head of the other party and spoke. MHM, Binger will listen to Daddy. Binger replied with an obedient and sensible expression on her face. Lu Changxing left Changxing Hall with Binger. Lu Lingxiao and Lu Qingsong were consolidating their realms. Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Xingchen were sitting in meditation, stabilizing their state. Yuner, Caizhen, you two break through together. Lu Changxing looked at his three children and said aloud. From the situation of Lu Qingsong just now, he could see that one of them simply couldn't withstand the yin-yang source. It would be better to split the yin-yang source in two and affect both of them at the same time. Yes, Daddy. The two of them, hearing this, nodded and began to prepare for foundation establishment. Lu Changxing then left Changxing Hall and went to the back mountain of Baiyun Peak to find his son, Lu Pingan. At this time, Lu Pingan was taming a silver-winged golden falcon. Daddy. Upon seeing Lu Changxing and Binger, Lu Pingan immediately called out. However, he was slightly surprised seeing Binger. He had never seen her before and felt that she didn't seem to have a marital relationship with his father. Emichim. Lu Changxing nodded slightly, glanced at the silver-winged golden falcon, and said, this silver-winged golden falcon can be used for traveling, but at this stage, try to avoid using it for battles in public places. Although as an Earth-grade lower demon beast, the silver-winged golden falcon wasn't particularly rare. But after all, it was stolen loot, and Lu Changxing thought it necessary to remind his son to be cautious. Lu Pingan was taken aback. Looking at the beast control token in his hand, and then at the silver-winged golden falcon, he immediately understood that this spiritual beast was probably obtained by his father from others and was considered stolen loot. I understand. Lu Pingan nodded in response. Although he knew that his father's behavior outside should not be as mild and refined as it appeared. But in his heart, such a gentlemanly image of his father, fighting and brawling with others, felt very bizarre. SEA the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Daddy, I plan to set off with the trading caravan in half a month. Lu Pingan spoke out. He had already set the date, but because of the delay due to practicing the 100 Refinements treasure body art, he wanted to set out as soon as possible. Good, be careful on the road, and if you encounter danger, there's no need to keep hiding your strength. Lu Changxing said with a smile. In his words, he handed a stone bead to Lu Pingan and said, this bead has the effect of distinguishing truth from falsehood. During your trading journey, if you encounter items you can't discern, you can rely on this bead. Right, you should also take this seeking spirit mouse with you. It can sense any treasures along the way. Lu Changxing passed the seeking spirit mouse to his son. This seeking spirit mouse now held no use for him. Having it with the caravan could serve some purpose. Seeking spirit mouse? Treasure-seeking mouse? Lu Pingan looked at the huge golden mouse in front of him, paused and said, "Daddy, can this seeking spirit mouse be used in public places?" Lu Changxing watched his son for a moment and said, "This seeking spirit mouse can be used, but be a bit more careful with this stone bead." Lu Pingan fell silent and securely put away the bead. After Lu Changxing finished giving instructions to Lu Pingan, he went to the Lu family mansion. At this moment, Ling Zixiao brought her daughter Lu Lingyi to Lu Changxing, indicating that Xiaohe wanted to go on the trading journey with Lu Pingan. And her son Lu Lingxiao also had this idea. So Ling Zixiao planned to join this trading journey herself to look after the two children. After all, she really wasn't at ease with her daughter going so far away. And Lu Lingxiao, now grown up, had only ever been active in the surrounding area. This trading journey was a good opportunity to broaden his experience and knowledge. Good. Lu Changxing looked at his wife before him, thought for a moment and then replied with a smile, "With you, Zi Shao, accompanying them on this trading journey, I am much more at ease." Although his son Lu Lingxiao had just broken through to foundation establishment and should concentrate on cultivating techniques at home to master the foundation establishment technique. But with his son having this idea and his wife speaking up, Lu Changxing naturally wouldn't refuse. Moreover, it was indeed necessary for his children to go out more and broaden their horizons and experiences. This trading journey was a good chance for Lu Lingxiao to gain experience. With Ling Zixiao looking after them, Lu Changxing was very relieved, even more so about the journey itself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1198. While Lu Changxing was chatting with Ling Zixiao, Lu Lingyi, looking at Binger who stood next to Lu Changxing with a delicate and dreamy appearance, asked aloud, "What's your name? How come I've never seen you before?" "My name is Binger." Binger looked at Lu Lingyi in front of her, unafraid of strangers, her voice tender and pleasant. "Binger? My name is Lu Lingyi, you can call me Xiaohe." Lu Lingyi was very outgoing and could chat with anyone on a regular day. Upon hearing that Binger was also her father's daughter, she was quite surprised. She immediately turned to Lu Changxing to ask whether this was an older sister or a younger sister. When Lu Changxing heard this question, he was actually puzzled by it. Seeing the naive and innocent look on Binger's face, he laughed and said, "She is a younger sister. Xiaohe, you must take good care of her." "Okay." Lu Lingyi immediately nodded in agreement, wanting to take Binger to play. "Daddy." Binger, holding on to Lu Changxing's wrist, had eyes filled with longing and reluctance to part. "Binger is still a bit shy, it would be good for you to interact more often." Lu Changxing spoke softly. He knew Binger wasn't actually shy. She simply had just woken up and couldn't bear to leave him. This situation required a period of adaptation. "Daddy." Seeing this, Lu Lingyi also puffed her cheeks, holding on to Lu Changxing's wrist, wanting him to accompany her to play. All right. Lu Changxing thought about how Lu Yun and Lu Caizhen would take at least half a month to go from foundation establishment to passing the third stage of foundation establishment, and replied with a smile, deciding to take Lu Lingyi and Binger out for a walk. He also planned to visit his father-in-law Lu Yuanding in Qingzhou Mountain to see his son Lu Qingxian and daughter Lu Qingqi. When Lu Changxing arrived at Qingzhou Mountain and saw the condition of his father-in-law Lu Yuanding, he sighed lightly. The other was now like a candle flickering in the wind, likely to burn out at any moment. However, the old man's spirits were somewhat lifted when he heard that Lu Changxing planned to auction a foundation establishment elixir at the Red Leaf Valley market. 50 years ago, Qingzhou Mountain destroyed the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley and established the Red Leaf Valley market. This market held much of his efforts. It could even be said that the Red Leaf Valley market was a milestone for the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, a significant mark in the family's development process. 50 years had passed, and although the Red Leaf Valley market had developed well, it was still only a medium-sized market. Now, auctioning a foundation establishment elixir there would undoubtedly bring the market to an unprecedented prosperity. At this moment, a strong desire for survival surged in Lu Yuanding's heart. He wanted to see such glory at the Red Leaf Valley market before passing away. Father-in-law, take good care of your health. I will come to pick you up when the time comes. Seeing this scene, Lu Changxing took out various life-extending spiritual medicines from the storage ring, helping Lu Yuanding refine them. Given his condition, these life-extending spiritual medicines actually had limited effects. They could only help maintain his vitality as much as possible, hardly extending his life. Changxing, you've gone to expense. Lu Yuanding's voice was old and weak. It was apparent that these spiritual medicines were not cheap. However, Lu Changxing's abilities in refining these medicines' effects with his mana also astonished him, secretly thinking that his son-in-law was indeed not as simple as rumor suggested. Father-in-law, you are being too formal. Sar the novel, F. Ire. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing smiled. Qingxian, Qingqi. After the old man rested, Lu Changxing also inquired about his children's conditions, asking them to look after Lu Yuanding more in the days to come, then took Binger and Lu Lingyi for a walk, returning to Bai Lake Mountain. Back home, Lu Changxing asked his son Lu Xingyang to speed up the arrangements of the Red Leaf Valley market auction. If possible, to also move up the schedule. He recalled how the Lu family ancestor, before his death, wanted to see the establishment of the Red Leaf Valley market and its opening. But the old man ultimately died with regrets. Therefore, he did not want his own father-in-law to die with regrets as well. Yes. Although Lu Xingyang was unsure of what was happening, he still obediently responded. Later, Lu Changxing went to Mount Sumru Cave Heaven, checked on Lu Yun and Lu Caizhen who were starting their foundation establishment, and talked about the situation of his father-in-law with Lu Miaoge. He asked her to visit Lu Yuanding more during this time. If Lu Miaoge could use her Tai True Water, Lu Yuanding should be able to endure until the auction begins. Okay. Lu Miaoge slightly pursed her lips, her expression somewhat downcast. Over the years, she had always visited her father Lu Yuanding frequently. However, Lu Yuanding had told her to prioritize her cultivation and to go out alone as little as possible, so he gradually stopped letting her visit. Seeing his wife looking this way, Lu Changxing immediately consoled her. Afterwards, Lu Changxing arrived at the summit of Blue Cloud Peak, silently muttering to himself, "System, draw." The advanced spinner appeared. Golden light spun around. Under Lu Changxing's gaze, the golden light slowly stopped on the elixir reward section. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill. Reward has been added to the system space. The host can check at any time. Suddenly, an elixir bottle icon emerged from the large spinner, accompanied by a system notification sound. Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill? Seeing this reward, Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows, thinking of the melding spirit pill he had won in a draw years ago. Immediately his mental spirit stirred, looking towards the system space. Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill, Grade, 5th Rank, Description. The Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill, consisting of a Yin and a Yang pill, when taken by a man the Yang pill, and a woman the Yin pill, after 3 days of intimacy, pregnancy is guaranteed, and the child's spiritual root talent is greatly enhanced. Guaranteed pregnancy, greatly enhances talent. What a fine item. Lu Changxing looked at the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill, instantly filled with excitement. Setting aside other aspects, just the grade of this elixir made Lu Changxing feel it was extraordinary. Back in the day, a third-rank melding spirit pill had enabled Ling Zixiao to give birth to siblings Lu Lingxiao and Lu Lingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1199, this 5th rank Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill, isn't it just like taking off directly? Especially after taking it, the couple would surely conceive after 3 days of intimacy, which made him think of Bai Ling, that girl, has wanted to have a child for a long time. Lu Changxing also wished to have a child with extraordinary talent with Bai Ling. However, no matter what, they just couldn't conceive. After breaking through to core formation, Lu Changxing also tried, wondering if two negatives could make a positive and thus achieve a direct hit to the soul. But while the idea was beautiful, reality was cruel. No matter what positions they tried, or even the 5 aggregates proliferation method, Bai Ling's belly simply did not respond. If it weren't for a medical examination showing no issue, Lu Changxing would have suspected there were problems with his body. "I'll try it with that girl Bai Ling later." Lu Changxing contemplated in his heart, deciding to take this yin-yang integration spirit pill with Bai Ling. Aside from the continued lack of pregnancy, Bai Ling's bloodline talent is also undoubtedly remarkable. Picked up by him in her early years, she didn't rely much on elixir medicines. Within just a short 15 years, she broke through to foundation establishment and condensed the Black Dragon Dao Foundation. Now, after 31 years in foundation establishment, her cultivation level is at the 6th layer. This sort of cultivation talent is hardly any less than that of a first-grade spiritual root. It's just that after so many years, Bai Ling's personality has not improved much. She is still timid and weak, very introverted, and barely noticeable on normal days. Other than cultivating, her daily life involved nurturing Black Dragon Daoist soldiers and Bai Shui Lake spiritual beasts, or occasionally taking care of the children, and she hardly ever went out. 2 days later, Lu Changxing looked at Lu Caizhen, who had passed through the 3 stages of foundation establishment, and infused part of the yin-yang source into her body, helping her to condense her Dao foundation. 2 days later, Lu Yun also successfully passed the 3 stages of foundation establishment and began to condense his Dao foundation. At this time, the disparity between spiritual roots became clear. If you talk about the foundation, comprehension, and temperament, Lu Caizhen isn't much better than Lu Yun. Even in terms of temperament, after so many years, Lu Caizhen still behaves like a child and is nowhere near as steady as Lu Yun. However, during the foundation establishment process, Lu Caizhen, with her 5th grade spiritual root, found the process much easier than Lu Yun. Of course, that was also because Lu Yun did not perform well. Despite being prepared for so long, he was still nervous and encountered stumbling blocks while condensing the Dao foundation. Sigh. Seeing this, Lu Changxing let out a deep sigh. He felt that if it went on like this, even with his own intervention, his son Lu Yun was likely to fail at foundation establishment. Indeed, after Lu Changxing forcibly condensed the Dao foundation 3 times, Lu Yun's Dao foundation still dispersed. While Lu Changxing could continue to help him forcibly condense the Dao foundation, Lu Yun's physical body, meridians, and dantian had already reached their limits. If he continued the condensation, in case of failure, it would damage his meridians and dantian. Faced with this situation, Lu Changxing stabilized his son's condition and released all the nature's spiritual energy from the Qi Ocean core to avoid any harm to his son's body in case the foundation establishment failed. Father. Lu Yun's face was somewhat pale, filled with shame. 5 people in the family were undergoing foundation establishment. Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingxiao had already succeeded in foundation establishment. Lu Caizhen, judging by the looks of it, should be able to succeed. The remaining Lu Xingchen, without even thinking, one could tell that he definitely would succeed in foundation establishment. Except for himself, who failed at foundation establishment. Especially just now during the foundation establishment process, where his Dao foundation collapsed and his father helped to condense it, going back and forth 3 times. Yet even in such a situation, he still failed, which truly made him feel utterly ashamed. It's just a failure in foundation establishment, there's no need to take it so to heart. Lu Changxing said to his son in a gentle voice. This son had been the family head for many years and had become much more stable. But at his core, he was still someone lacking decisiveness and self-confidence. The bigger the event, the more it showed. Father's words are true. Search * the novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Yun lowered his head in agreement. You should know the cultivation technique your mother cultivated, right? Lu Changxing looked at his son and said thoughtfully. Although failing at foundation establishment first time provides experience, making the next attempt more likely to succeed. Such things, in the end, depend on the individual. People with a poor mentality, having failed once, may face even greater pressure the next time and might even become fearful. As Lu Changxing saw it, his son Lu Yun was very likely to end up in this situation. And this son was indeed getting on in years. After he recovers, he probably only has one more chance at foundation establishment. So rather than that, it might be better to let him follow the path of the heavenly longevity technique now. The child knows, mother's cultivation technique is called the heavenly longevity technique, Lu Yun replied softly upon hearing this. In my hands are a few heaven and earth spiritual plants, choose one later and cultivate this technique. How does that sound? Lu Changxing spoke. Although this son was disappointing, he still watched him grow up from a young age and had high hopes for him. Moreover, over the years, this son had been diligent and didn't make any major mistakes, making quite a contribution to the family. The child will follow father's arrangement. After a moment of silence, Lu Yun replied softly. Good, that's settled then, you should go back and rest properly now. Lu Changxing patted his son's shoulder, smiled, and indicated he shouldn't worry too much. Thank you, father. Lu Yun bowed and walked out of the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. At this time, Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjun were outside the cave heaven. Yuner. When Lu Miaoyun saw her son Lu Yun looking like this, she immediately knew that her son had failed in foundation establishment. She didn't enter the cave heaven precisely because she was worried that her presence might pressure him and affect his foundation establishment. Unexpectedly, her son still failed at foundation establishment. Mother, I've disappointed you. Lu Yun said softly. From a young age, his mother had strictly taught him, had high expectations, but his abilities were limited, and his sensitive heart led to an increasingly self-effacing personality, constantly subservient in his actions. Later, though he became the family head, with so many outstanding siblings in the family, he never got over his sense of sensitivity and inferiority. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1200 felt that his role as the family head totally relied on his mother's connections. Thus, his personality did not improve. Instead, it became even more cautious and meticulous, fearing that his actions would disappoint his parents. You are just a 7th grade spiritual root, and foundation establishment is difficult for you. Failure is normal. There will be more chances in the future, don't take it to heart. Lu Miaoyun had always known that her son's sensitive nature was related to her early teachings, and she felt somewhat guilty, softly comforting him. Father wants me to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Lu Yun spoke out. The heavenly longevity technique? When Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjun heard this, they exchanged a look. They both cultivated this technique and naturally understood it very well, including its advantages and disadvantages. Yuner, what do you think yourself? Lu Miaoyun asked aloud. In her view, it was good for her son to be able to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Although after cultivating this technique, one cannot stray too far from their lifespan spiritual plant. But she believed her husband could resolve this issue in the future. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I will listen to father. Lu Yun spoke in a low voice. He was also unsure himself. Wanted to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, thereby attaining foundation establishment, and even potentially core formation. Yet he was also a bit lost, feeling unable to leave by Lake Mountain, and even if he attained foundation establishment or core formation, what would it really mean? He still remembered when his great-grandmother passed away, his mother couldn't visit and could only mourn alone. If he cultivated this technique, he might not have to experience parting in life or death with his parents. But, he would likely watch as his wives and children passed away one by one beside him. After all, he was aware that the conditions for cultivating such a technique were extremely stringent. The choice given by his father was a sign of favoritism towards him, and he couldn't possibly take care of everyone. You rest well first, later, mother will explain this technique to you in detail, and then you can think it over thoroughly. Knowing that her son had just failed in foundation establishment and was currently very troubled, Lu Miaoyun said softly. "Thank you, mother." Lu Yun gave a formal bow and walked down from Baiyun Peak. At this time, Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjin also entered the cave heaven. Chu Zhenjin originally wanted to enter the cave heaven to check on her daughter's foundation establishment progress. But she was always close with Lu Miaoyun. If she went in to check on Lu Caizhen while Lu Miaoyun did not check on Lu Yun, it wouldn't look good, so the two waited outside. Husband. Husband. The two women arrived at cave heaven and called out upon seeing Lu Changsheng. "Miaoyun, Zhenjin, you've arrived." Lu Changsheng called out with a smile. Then he discussed the matter of his son, Lu Yun, with Lu Miaoyun. "It has been tough on you, husband." Lu Miaoyun said softly. "Caizhen doesn't have any problems, she was able to achieve foundation establishment." Lu Changsheng told Chu Zhenjin. With his help, as long as their children weren't of lower quality spiritual roots and didn't have too poor a mentality or foundation, they were very likely to succeed in foundation establishment. It has been tough on you, husband." Joy flickered in Chu Zhenjin's eyes. 5 days later, Lu Caizhen successfully achieved foundation establishment. Her Dao foundation, like Lu Rui's, was just barely considered as with flaw. However, for these children, Lu Changsheng's standards weren't high, foundation establishment was considered a success. "Dad, Mom, Auntie." Lu Caizhen opened her eyes, her face joyful, very happy. She had never even considered foundation establishment in her early years. Felt that with her type of spiritual root, if she still harbored unrealistic hopes for foundation establishment, it was merely inviting trouble onto herself. Why not be happy every single day? But inadvertently, she took the elixir medicines her brother gave to their mother, which advanced her spiritual root to middle grade, and she saw some hope for foundation establishment. It's just her lazy nature that, despite having a 5th grade spiritual root, she only reached the peak of chi refining and started challenging foundation establishment now. However, now that she has achieved foundation establishment, there's an indescribable joy in her heart. "Caizhen, congratulations on your breakthrough to foundation establishment." "Caizhen, congratulations." Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenjin congratulated their daughter. "It's all thanks to you, Dad and Mom." Lu Caizhen's personality resembles her mother Chu Zhenjin somewhat, characterized as laid-back and quite self-aware. After some brief chatting, Lu Changsheng asked Lu Caizhen to solidify her realm well. Then, he called Lu Xingxian over to get ready, starting his foundation establishment in 3 days. Outside by Lake Mountain. A neatly arranged caravan of pack animals, pulling several compartments and stacks of storage boxes. After so much preparation, the Lu family caravan was finally ready to set off. "Xiaohe, if you want to come home, just tell Mom, and Daddy will come to pick you up." Lu Changsheng patted his little daughter's head and spoke. In his view, his daughter was following the business trip just for fun. Once the novelty wears off, she would likely get bored and want to come home. Daddy, you think I will give up halfway?" Lu Lingyi was wearing a red warrior dress today, her usual buns turned into a high ponytail, looking lively and valiant. She was imitating the attire of other martial artists. "Ha ha ha, Daddy will miss you, and if you miss Daddy, Daddy will come to see you." Lu Changsheng looked at his daughter's puffed cute cheeks, pinched them gently, and chuckled. "Daddy, I will miss you, and when I earn spirit stones, I'll buy you a gift." Lu Lingyi, with her eyebrows curved and face delicate, said adorably. "Okay, when Xiaohe comes home, Daddy will also have a gift for you." Lu Changsheng said with a smile. "Binger, I will bring you a gift too." Lu Lingyi then turned to Binger next to Lu Changsheng and spoke. During this time, she had a great time with Binger, becoming playmates. The only regret was that Binger didn't want to join her on the business trip. "Thank you, Xiaohe." Binger stepped forward and hugged Lu Lingyi. "Hee hee." Lu Lingyi happily hugged her back. After bidding farewell to his daughter, Lu Changsheng asked Ling Zixiao, Lu Pingan, Lu Rui, and others to be cautious and to contact him immediately if something happened. Even so, Lu Changxing was not at all worried about this business trip. With Ling Zixiao, Lu Lingxiao, Lu Lingyi, and Lu Changxing himself not letting Lu Pingan bring the 9 Netherhound, he directly gave the 1,000 Faces puppet fox to Ling Zixiao. This would allow them to hold their ground even against a nascent soul immortal. Moments later, the pack animal caravan began its journey. This caravan, in addition to Ling Zixiao, Lu Pingan, Lu Lingxiao, Lu Rui, included 9 Lu family disciples, 3 Lu family disciples of Qingzhou Mountain, 12 apprentices of Bai Lake Mountain, and 50 innate martial artists. Their route passed from Bai Lake Mountain through 9 Dragons Market, Green River Marketplace, 5 Peaks Market, Qingyan Market, and other along the path marketplaces, including various family forces. During the process, they not only opened up trade routes and established partnerships, but they also enhanced their reputation and evaluated the market situations en route to acquire storefronts and set up business association strongholds. Originally, setting up business association strongholds was a plan for the future. However, since Lu Changxing had gained a large amount of spirit stones and Ling Zixiao personally went on the journey, this task was handed over to Ling Zixiao to handle. I wonder how much resistance we'll encounter this time. Lu Changxing, watching the gradually disappearing caravan, chuckled lightly. He was actually quite excited about these family forces coming to cause trouble, thus building his son Lu Pingan's renown. After all, a family can't solely depend on his and Lu Maiage's reputations to dominate, it should also have a few brave children to stand tall. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1201, compared to the news of the Red Leaf Valley Market preparing to auction off Foundation establishment elixirs, the matters of the Lu family caravan did not attract too much attention. Only a few Foundation establishment clans and false core stage families such as the Jinlong Ridge Jin family showed interest in this matter. At this moment, in Jinlong Ridge, Patriarch, the Lu family caravan has already set out, led by Lu Changsheng's wife, Ling Zixiao, and his eldest son, Lu Pingan. A member of the Jin family reported this piece of news to the Patriarch of the Jin family, Ling Zixiao. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the Patriarch of the Jin family slightly narrowed. They had long probed and understood the strength of Lu Pingan. Initial stage of Foundation establishment. Second order middle stage body refinement. With a few spiritual artifacts, his combat power is comparable to the late stage of Foundation establishment. Compared to Lu Pingan, Ling Zixiao, the lady of the Lu family, made him feel more apprehensive. Because aside from seizing Bai Lake Mountain and suppressing Xiaohou money years ago, Ling Zixiao rarely made public appearances. Her sudden departure now, especially in command of the Lu family caravan with Lu Pingan, made him feel wary and speculate about her strength. Little 4, keep a constant watch on the Lu family caravan, and report back immediately with any updates, said the Patriarch of the Jin family in a deep voice. Afterward, he convened a family meeting to inquire about others' views on this matter. Patriarch, are you saying that this caravan is led by Lu Changsheng's wife, Ling Zixiao, and Lu Pingan, who oversees White Tiger Mountain? An imposing, golden-robed elder slightly furrowed his brow and asked with a tone of surprise and uncertainty. Correct. The Patriarch of the Jin family nodded in response. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Upon hearing this, the golden-robed elder burst into loud laughter. Great elder, why do you laugh so heartily? Someone saw this and asked the golden-robed elder. The original great elder of the Jin family was Jin Zan. But after Jin Zan's breakthrough to the false core level, he became the family's ancestor and no longer served as an elder. Thus, this golden-robed man was the current great elder of the Jin family. It's not that I'm laughing at somebody, I'm laughing at Lu Changsheng's reckless foolishness and arrogance. The golden-robed elder sneered and addressed the assembly in the council hall. I've heard the news. Lu Changsheng is planning to auction a Foundation establishment elixir in the Red Leaf Valley Market. By then, Bai Lake Mountain will definitely have to concentrate most of its efforts on maintaining stability at the Red Leaf Valley Market. Now, -2 Foundation establishment cultivators, during this period, his Bai Lake Mountain, White Tiger Mountain, and Monkey Hill will be left in a state of void strength. If we seize this opportunity to strike at White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill, we can surely inflict severe damage on his by Lake Mountain's vitality. Even if by Lake Mountain manages to boost the fame of the Red Leaf Valley market through the auction, they will be overwhelmed with the troubles of White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill. The golden-robed elder shook his head and spoke. I think this Lu Changxing has been too smooth sailing these years, thinking he has an unbreakable momentum, to the point where when he establishes a business association and caravan, he even holds a foundation establishment elixir auction, truly believing no one dares make a move against his by Lake Mountain. Could there be any trickery in Lu Changxing's usual cautious and low-profile actions? The seventh elder of the Jin family frowned and spoke up. A trick, what kind of trick could there be? Upon hearing this, the golden-robed elder coldly snorted, indeed, Lu Changxing is not ordinary, but we must not diminish our own prestige and bolster others' courage. Now that Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingan have left, how many foundation establishment members are left in his Lu family? Even if they still have foundation establishment cultivators hidden away, how many could there be? At most 1 or 2. Under such circumstances, he directed most of his focus on the Red Leaf Valley market, leaving no one to oversee White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill. Moreover, once the Red Leaf Valley market auction commences, it would be difficult for Lu Changxing to provide timely support. If he dares to come alone, we can even take this opportunity to invite our ancestor to set up an ambush. The golden-robed elder spoke with a chilling light in his eyes. Lu Changxing also has a foundation establishment Dao companion in the Qinyan sect, and a younger brother-in-law who is a foundation establishment cultivator named Xia Zhaoyang. Lu Changxing sending out Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingan, he must have taken his precautions, and may invite these two to come and support him. At this point, another elder of the Jin family spoke up. True, this Xia Zhaoyang holds a position as an executor in the Qinyan sect's enforcement hall. If our family covertly makes a move and he learns of it, reporting it to the Qinyan sect's enforcement hall would be very troublesome, the patriarch of the Jin family agreed, nodding. Although the great elder said not to crush our own prestige or boost the morale of others, CTH novel, F. Iyer. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The patriarch of the Jin family had kept an eye on the situation of Lu Changxing over the years and felt that the other party was not such a reckless person. If this won't do and that won't do, are we to just watch his by Lake Mountain rise? If this Red Leaf Valley market auction goes smoothly, our family's market will inevitably lose a lot of resident cultivators. Moreover, by Lu Changxing taking out a foundation establishment elixir for auction at this time, he is clearly aiming to solidify the reputation and credibility of refining foundation establishment elixirs. If his by Lake Mountain monopolizes all the shares of refining foundation establishment elixirs in the Qinyan region, who could stop the rise of his by Lake Mountain? The great elder said, frustrated and disappointed. Considering themselves a false core family above the small by Lake Mountain, the fact that they were being so cautious and restrained made him feel extremely stifled. Great elder, please calm down. Though the plan is feasible, our family can't afford any more setbacks right now. We must deliberate long-term, and proceed with caution, the patriarch of the Jin family spoke with a bitter smile. In the end, the meeting split into 2 factions. One faction advocated for taking decisive action, while the other suggested cautiously observing the situation of by Lake Mountain, slowly testing the waters and waiting for the right opportunity. Apart from the Jinlong Ridge Jin family, several other top-tier foundation establishment families and 5 false core families are also closely watching the situation of the Lu family caravan, ready to strike and suppress them. After all, the establishment of a business association by Lake Mountain is the same as stealing meat from their mouths. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1202. Since one wants to compete for resources, naturally one must possess sufficient strength. Although Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoga currently have combat capabilities comparable to a false core immortal, they can be considered as such. However, when it comes to such matters, not only is the top-tier combat power important, but also the overall strength of the family. At least in the eyes of those false core stage families, By Lake Mountain is still not qualified to be listed alongside them. Even deep down, they look down on By Lake Mountain with a degree of contempt and disdain. They think that a mere family that has risen only in the past few decades, without any foundation or heritage, is delusionally trying to compete with them. They plan to use this opportunity to give By Lake Mountain a harsh lesson, to let them continue to stay honestly and subserviently at By Lake Mountain. By Lake Mountain. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Hoo, the spiritual energy of nature surges wildly, forming a vortex of spiritual energy. Lu Changsheng and Xia Zizhu watch from not far away, as Lu Xingchen, seated in the lotus position, is in the midst of foundation establishment. This son has a third-grade spiritual root, and he possesses decent talent in alchemy, preparing to follow the path of an alchemist. But at the current stage, he is mainly focusing on cultivation, having just advanced to a first-grade high-quality alchemist. However, in terms of cultivation technique, he has already switched to practicing the Cauldron Medical King's scripture. After foundation establishment, he will be able to devote more time and energy to alchemy. After a long while. A flawless Dao foundation, not bad. Lu Changsheng, looking at his son's condition, nods slightly. Although this son has a third-grade spiritual root, his talent and comprehension are only average, not much better than his son Lu Qingshuan's foundation. A flawless Dao foundation is already the limit. Unless there is a great opportunity, there is no hope for a perfect foundation base. Father, mother. Lu Xingchen opens his eyes and calls out. With Lu Qingsong, Lu Lingxiao, and Lu Caizhen having established their foundations earlier, Lu Xingchen is not too excited at the moment, but simply filled with joy. After all, from a young age, they have been raised listening to the stories of foundation establishment ancestors and foundation establishment great cultivators. The greatest wish of the mother in the household is to hope that they will one day become foundation establishment great cultivators. Now breaking through to foundation establishment, there is bound to be a sense of joy. Xingchen, congratulations on your foundation establishment. Lu Changsheng says with a smile. Now that his son has broken through to foundation establishment, as long as he spends more time and effort on alchemy, he will be able to advance to the second-order alchemist. Xingchen, congratulations on your breakthrough to foundation establishment. Xia Zizhu, extremely excited at this moment, her eyes brimming with tears, cries with overwhelming joy. At one time, foundation establishment seemed unreachable to her. But now, not only she, but her younger brother Xia Zhaoyang has also broken through to foundation establishment. And her son Lu Xingchen has also achieved foundation establishment. Once her daughter Lu Xingyue returns from her sect mission, she also has a chance to hit foundation establishment. Her son Lu Xingyang with a 5th-grade spiritual root, as long as he cultivates diligently, also holds the potential for foundation establishment in the future. With 2 other children, each with a 4th and 5th-grade spiritual root, there is hope for foundation establishment in the future as long as they cultivate diligently. At this moment, she feels her life is complete. Zizhu, Xingchen could achieve today's breakthrough thanks to your years of caring and teaching. You have worked hard. Lu Changsheng holds Xia Zizhu's hand and says softly. Husband, it's not hard work. Being able to meet you is the luckiest thing in Zizhu's life, Xia Zizhu says softly with teary eyes, her heart filled with deep affection and gratitude for Lu Changsheng. She knows that without Lu Changsheng, it would be difficult for her and her younger brother to have such a life today. Xingchen, you work on consolidating your realm, Lu Changsheng tells his son, then goes to properly comfort Xia Zizhu. Xia Zizhu, with a spirit-nurturing physique, now that he has achieved core formation, it's possible that her 6th child might bring a few surprises. Several days later. After consoling Xia Zizhu, Lu Changsheng goes to find Bai Ling at Bai Shui Lake. Planning to spend some quality time with the girl Bai Ling next, and also to use the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill. Daddy. Binger, who was left in Bai Ling's care by Lu Changsheng, immediately yells with delight upon seeing him. Big brother. Bai Ling, in a snow-white dress, with a delicate and pure face, and flawless fair skin, shines with a holy beauty under the sunlight. However, her eyes, clear black and white like peach blossoms, radiate a dreamy and alluring charm that makes one's heart throb and involuntarily intoxicated. Both girls, each in a snow-white dress, possess world-class stunning beauty, and standing together, they resemble a pair of sisters, making even the heavens and earth appear somewhat dim in comparison. CTH Oval Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But upon seeing Lu Changxing, Bing immediately lets go of Bai Ling and affectionately clings to him. Her pale and gorgeous face reveals a shallow, adorable dimple. Daddy. Bing calls out, her tender, innocent eyes sparkling like black gems, gleaming with a radiant, beautiful luster. Despite it being only a few days apart, she seems to have been separated from Lu Changxing for many years, her eyes full of longing. Bing. Lu Changxing fondly ruffles the girl's hair, then turns to Bai Ling and calls out tenderly, "Little Linger." Bai Ling immediately comes obediently and endearingly into Lu Changxing's embrace. A moment later, Lu Changxing watches Bai Ling feeding the aquatic spiritual beasts at home. Over the years, Lu Changxing no longer relies on breeding spiritual beasts for income. Because to earn money in this area, one must personally cultivate the feed for the spiritual beasts and refine pills to accelerate their growth. This process, if done through purchasing, tends to have high costs. And breeding spiritual beasts takes too long, even for simple growth. It requires years, or even decades. It can only be said that if a family business wants to make money, it must grow on a large scale. Otherwise, there is hardly any competitive strength. Bing, are you tired? At this moment, Lu Changxing asks Bing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1203, Daddy, Bing is not sleepy. Bing immediately looked aggrieved, her pale pink lips pouting. Her clear, tender eyes seemed veiled in a layer of mist, as if tears were about to fall. All right, not sleepy, not sleepy. Lu Changxing, who always had a softer spot for gentleness than sternness, couldn't help but feel tender-hearted at the pitiful sight of Bing. Subsequently, he tried to hand Bing over to Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenjin. But at that moment, Bing simply did not want to leave him. Faced with this situation, Lu Changxing was somewhat at a loss. It felt as if, by picking up Bing, it was like a couple having a child, needing to be cautious. Or should I just resolve to be utterly heartless? Lu Changxing gazed at Bing's delicate features, evil thoughts momentarily arising in his heart. Sarch * The Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Although he wasn't sure about Bing's condition, he knew that the Bing before him was very extraordinary, exceedingly so. If it were possible for her to bear a child, the offspring would definitely be extraordinary. However, Bing's situation was special, her body was like a ean corpse, and it was uncertain whether she could have children. Daddy. Bing, seeing Lu Changxing looking at her, immediately called out affectionately, her voice tender and innocent. Seeing this, Lu Changxing's indecent thoughts dissipated. He decided to nurture her for a while longer until she understood more. Otherwise, seeing her gaze now made him unable to proceed. After a long time, Lu Changxing felt that this was not a solution either. He spoke out loud, Bing, Daddy is going to sleep now, do you want to join? Since Bing wanted to stay close, let her stay, it didn't interfere anyway. Bing will join Daddy. Bing blinked her eyes, which shone like black gems, showing no aversion at all. That night, the room was completely silent. Bing, lulled to sleep by Lu Changxing, lay on the bed like a delicate porcelain doll. Her black, beautiful hair spread out on the pillow, her body covered with a thin blanket, and her pale, exquisitely beautiful figure indescribably graceful. Especially the two beautiful legs revealed from the lower half, straight and slender with beautiful curves, and her toes clear and translucent. The only imperfection might be that her skin was too pale, even somewhat ghastly pale. Lu Changxing quietly watched the sleeping girl before him, recalling how he unearthed her from the earth veins, feeling a surreal, unreal sensation. Perhaps sensing Lu Changxing's gaze, Bing's long eyelashes quivered slightly, slowly opening her eyes. Seeing Lu Changxing watching her, she immediately smiled joyfully, unconsciously murmured, "Daddy," and then closed her eyes, as if having a beautiful dream. Bai Ling, standing beside, watched Binger with maternal grace flowing in her eyes. She envied that all the wives and concubines in the family had given birth to children. Since she had been unable to conceive, she often helped with the children on normal days to compensate for her regret. This caused her, despite her immature personality, to exude a certain maternal glow. "Little Linger, it's all right, just take this elixir medicine, and then you will be able to conceive." Lu Changsheng, after watching Binger for a while, set up a barrier around her, looked towards Bai Ling standing beside him, softly saying as he took out the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill. This bottle of Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill was divided into Yin Elixir and Yang Elixir. Aside from aiding in conception, it also had some benefits for both the male and female participants. Because a child's talent is not only related to the parent's talents but also to the parent's physical conditions. These two pills would allow both individuals to reach their current peak condition. However, the effect of the Yin elixir is far superior to that of the Yang elixir. Because in matters of conceiving and bearing children, the mother has a greater influence on the child's talent. Thus, the Yin elixir, while enhancing the child's spiritual root talent, also indirectly nourishes the mother's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1204, I'm pregnant with a baby. Brother, can I really become pregnant? Bai Ling, hearing this, looked at the porcelain bottle in Lu Changsheng's hands, her eyes filled with surprise and hope. So many years had passed, and she also knew that her inability to conceive was related to her bloodline and talents. To solve it was extremely challenging. Ordinary elixir medicines and cultivation techniques were useless. Of course. Lu Changsheng watched Bai Ling's beautiful eyes swirl with joy and expectation, pinched her fair and smooth cheek, and poured out the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill from the porcelain bottle. SEA the Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Both pills were the size of a thumb. One was golden, and the other was purple. The pill patterns on them seemed to contain thousands of mysterious and sparkling lines. The rich fragrance of the pills diffused, making the entire cave mansion seem like a misty steaming realm. Even Lu Changsheng couldn't help but marvel at the extraordinariness of these fifth-ranked pills. He handed the purple Yin elixir to Bai Ling and spoke, "Just take it, and then, thank you, brother." Bai Ling could see the extraordinariness of these two pills and was very moved as she took the pill. Lu Changsheng also took the Yang elixir in his hand. As soon as the pills entered their mouths, they melted away, transforming into warm streams of rosy light rushing towards their limbs and bones. In an instant, Lu Changsheng's pores opened up and his body shone brightly, his entire being filled with immense medicinal power, his energy boundless as if he had inexhaustible strength. At the same time, a hot sensation slowly emerged from his lower abdomen. After taking the pill, Bai Ling's effects were even more exaggerated than Lu Changsheng's. Her energy surged around her, and wave after wave of purple gold light flowed from her skin, with radiant light overfilling, as if she was on the verge of transforming and ascending. "Brother," Bai Ling's exquisite and pure face flushed with a peach blossom's blush, her clear and distinct beautiful eyes looked affectionately at Lu Changsheng, full of charm that was intoxicating. Both pills had an aphrodisiac effect. Let alone two cultivators at the foundation establishment and core formation stages. Even a nascent soul true lord would be affected by it. Lu Changsheng did not suppress the heat and embraced Bai Ling's delicate and graceful body into his arms. Accompanied by the rustling sound, the snow-white dress was removed. Bai Ling had a wonderful figure. Graceful and delicate, with a well-proportioned body. A pair of long and straight beautiful legs that seemed supernaturally perfect. The tender and delicate feet were like ice lotuses, each toe crystal clear, as if carved from jade. The white scales on her fair skin gave off a white gold luster and were not alarming at all. Merged perfectly with Bai Ling's body, her pure and seductive figure gained an additional wild charm and exotic allure, invoking a primal desire to conquer in those who saw her. Brother, under Lu Changsheng's years of patient teaching, Bai Ling was no longer the clueless girl, knowing how to please him. With her arms around his neck, she actively leaned in to kiss Lu Changxing. Her lips were extremely soft, silky and tender, and they carried an intoxicating coolness. Moments later, accompanied by a soul-stirring delicate moan, an impeccable jade body undulates and sways. Adorned with scales glowing in white and gold, the jade body radiates a faint pinkish pearlescent light, dreamlike and illusionary, strikingly beautiful, filling the entire cave mansion with the air of spring. Inside the cave mansion, the ambience is ripe with the spirit of spring. Bai Ling was initially worried that Binger might wake up, showing signs of bashfulness. But realizing that a barrier separated them, she gradually lost herself under Lu Changsheng's punishing lashes. The fair skin covered in scales not only took on a subtle rosy blush but also constantly shimmered with a purple-golden radiance. This was the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill. The power of the pill continuously nourished and moisturized the two as they made merry. Even after making love for several days, Lu Changsheng's body remained in peak condition, feeling better than ever before. "Daddy, I've slept enough." Just at this moment, as Lu Changxing was on the verge of eruption, a naive and pleasant voice sounded. Binger opened her eyes, and her clear, flawless large eyes looked on in surprise at the entwined pair. Binger, you shouldn't look." Bai Ling, almost forgetting herself at the sound of Binger, trembled violently, her beautiful face instantly flushing red as blood. Though she's not inexperienced, yet she remains shy in character, only ever letting go with those she knows well, like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenzhen, and so on. Now, in front of Binger, she felt somewhat uneasy. Especially after spending time with Binger these past days, she had come to view her as one could a child. Thinking that she and her brother were exposed like this in front of Binger, Bai Ling felt so ashamed her body shook uncontrollably, tears welling up. Lu Changxing was also somewhat dumbfounded. He had previously used a barrier to isolate Binger but didn't expect her to wake up so soon. It can only be said that when desire takes over, one easily loses track of time. "Ah!" Finally, Binger cried out loudly. But this voice was not one of surprise or fear, but rather of feeling wronged. Throwing herself at Lu Changxing, she said with a hint of grievance, "Daddy actually took advantage of Binger sleeping to secretly play games with Sister Linger. Binger wants to play too." Hiss. Lu Changxing, embraced by Binger, recoiled sharply, his body withdrawing backward, disengaging from Bai Ling. Binger, seeing this scene, instinctively grabbed Lu Changxing's formidable weapon as it slipped out from Bai Ling's body, pressing her little face to it, curious about how to play this game. Hiss. Lu Changxing sharply inhaled a breath of cold air once again. Binger, true to her name. Her body temperature always cool and chilly. At this moment, her cold slippery little hand holds Lu Changxing's formidable weapon, her face filled with curiosity as she examines it, not only blowing frigid breath towards the weapon but her delicate, tender face and pink lips also inadvertently making contact. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1205, Daddy. Binger, still naive and ignorant, looked at Lu Changxing, her voice tenderly calling out, asking how to play the game. But her appearance, at this very moment, undoubtedly brought an unprecedented visual stimulation to Lu Changxing, igniting his desires. Under the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, already feeling an intense heat throughout his body and on the verge of bursting, Lu Changxing couldn't wait to find a place to vent, as he instinctively thrust his waist forward, his life force pouring out. "Woo woo woo," Binger instinctively whimpered, her naive large eyes looking at Lu Changxing, her little fangs even lightly grazed Lu Changxing. If it weren't for the 100 refinements treasure body art, Lu Changxing felt he would have been scraped by those fangs. With the sound of a gulping, Binger's body suddenly shrouded in a dazzling brilliance. A surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil chi burst forth from her body, seemingly lowering the temperature of the cave mansion. Lu Changxing looked at Binger in front of him, his expression bewildered, not understanding what was happening. But under the chilling breath, he instinctively withdrew the roaring flood dragon, causing Binger's cheeks and hair to be sullied. The originally naive Binger, only around 17 or 18 years old under the brilliance, rapidly grew into a 26 or 27-year-old woman with pale skin, cold as frost. She bore an 80 to 90% resemblance to Binger. As if a matured Binger. Her features were cold and stunningly beautiful, her body curvaceous, and her white skirt barely able to hide her proudly enchanting curves. At this moment, Binger had a face of cold, noble pride, looking like a goddess from above the 9 heavens, her gaze towards Lu Changxing no longer naive and affectionate as before. But rather, embarrassed, angry, filled with sinister qi, she glared at Lu Changxing with murderous intent. However, her flawless, exquisitely beautiful face, even stained, brought a profane beauty to her whole being, making the anger, murderous intent, and sinister qi in her eyes non-threatening, and even strangely beautiful. You seek death. Binger had her chest heaving, her alluring and proud figure trembling as if shivering. Heart-stoppingly beautiful eyes, dignified and indifferent, filled with murderous authority as she looked at Lu Changxing, seemingly wanting to tear him to shreds. Suddenly, a tumultuous surge of sinister evil qi rushed towards Lu Changxing, making the entire cave mansion seem covered in frost. Brother? Bai Ling also sensed something was amiss, her eyes hazy as she looked towards Lu Changxing and Binger, wanting to understand what was happening. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing did not understand what was going on with Binger in front of him. But he realized immediately that something was off about the Binger in front of him, as if she had changed into another persona. Moreover, aside from a body comparable to third-order body refining, the person was permeated with a surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil qi, so he took no chances and directly suppressed her with Mount Sumeru. Bang! The majestic power of the cave heaven fell on Binger, causing her body to heavily sink. But her eyes flowed with cold intent, her killing aura fearsome, her body continued to erupt with a torrential and terrifying aura. CTH Novelfire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But the next moment, an even more astonishing force of heaven and earth pressed down. At the same time, Qi Ocean Core within Lu Changxing, Golden Core releasing a magnificent radiance, the yin-yang domain opened. Only to see yin-yang energies flowing, filling the heavens and earth, forming a yin-yang Taoist chart behind him, enveloping the heavens and earth, suppressing Binger in front of him. Finally, under the combined forces of Mount Sumeru and Lu Changxing's yin-yang domain, the Binger in front of him was suppressed. Who are you? Lu Changxing looked at the Binger in front of him, his eyes slightly narrowed, he asked aloud. Human, how dare you treat this palace like this? One day, this palace will surely see you torn to pieces. Binger said with a cold expression and fierce murderous intent. Even though her pale lips showed no life, her whole being suppressed, her demeanor still revealed a condescending nobility that ashamed others. If murderous intent could kill, Lu Changxing might have already been chopped into thousands of pieces by her now. Torn to pieces? I advise you to behave now. Lu Changxing slightly crouched down, reaching out to hold her delicate chin, speaking coldly. He had long known Binger was not ordinary. But he did not expect such a change could still occur with Binger. Is this Binger's appearance before amnesia, or is it a secondary persona? But wasn't Binger a yin corpse? Is it possible that Binger was not refined into a yin corpse by someone else, but transformed herself into a yin corpse? Lu Changxing introspected secretly. No matter the case, judging from the way he found Binger, she is not simple at all. Human, do you really think you have this palace under control? Binger spoke coldly, full of murderous intent, her body continuously releasing sinister evil qi, seemingly struggling against the cave heaven's power, Lu Changxing's yin-yang domain. If you really had means, you would have acted by now, why waste words with me? Lu Changxing held Binger's chin, utterly unafraid. If it were the outside world, he might indeed be somewhat afraid. But this place was Mount Sumeru cave heaven, he did not believe she could cause any trouble. However, her sinister evil qi still alarmed him somewhat. It must be known that the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru cave heaven is currently advancing towards 3rd rank, and Mount Sumeru's strength has also improved significantly. Nascent soul cultivators have no chance to retaliate within the cave heaven. Yet her sinister evil chi seemed to struggle against the power of Mount Sumerus cave heaven. This is astonishing. You are the first who dares to speak to this palace like this. After a moment, Binger, as if recognizing reality, gave up struggling, her lips lightly parted, speaking coldly, her voice devoid of any emotion, not having the slightest warmth, cold to the bone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1206. But still, she stood there like a cold phoenix perched high in the ninth heaven, emanating an aura of noble sanctity that discouraged any direct gaze. You are the first woman who dares to speak to me in such a manner. Lu Changxing looked at her proud and noble face, and with a light chuckle, he said. You're right, I indeed lack the strength to kill you now. But if you dare to insult me again, when I awaken next time, I would risk my life just to take yours. Binger spoke in a distinguished and lofty tone, her voice punctuated with chilling murderous intent. As her words ended, a dazzling white light surged around her, and she reverted back to her appearance of a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Daddy, eat up, Binger once more. With a look of naive confusion in her eyes, Binger gazed at Lu Changxing, as if she had no idea what had just happened, licking her lips and looking longingly at Lu Changxing. In the midst of speaking, she nuzzled forward to feed. Hiss, Binger. Lu Changxing's eyes widened as the desire he had just dispersed surged back with a vengeance. SEA the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Daddy, I want more. Binger's delicate and stunning face oozed satisfaction and pleasure as she spoke. At that moment, Lu Changxing simply had no clue what to say. He only felt that the pure and innocent girl before him had been tainted by his own actions. However, the atmosphere that had been disrupted earlier was reignited by Binger's current actions. Brother, just now at this moment, Bai Ling looked at Binger before her and asked Lu Changxing. She had distinctly felt an incredibly terrifying aura emanating from Binger. I don't know either, Lu Changxing shook his head. He suspected Binger's condition was related not only to the stimulation between the two of them but also to his essence. After all, he had ingested the yin-yang integration spirit pill, and the medicinal power was suffused throughout his body, each drop of essence brimming with vigorous life force, akin to an elixir. It might have been due to a combination of factors that triggered the awakening of a second personality within her, or perhaps an instinctual memory. Regarding this, he would have to wait until Hong Lian awakened to further assess the situation. But the way she referred to humans made Lu Changxing even suspect whether she might not be of the human race, but some other species. Daddy, I want to play the game too. Binger, with her innocent and childish eyes, looked at Lu Changxing and continued to call out. Lu Changxing gazed at Binger in front of him, feeling as if his moral baseline had collapsed. After all, at this point, it seemed rather pretentious to maintain restraint. Even though it felt beastly to lay hands on Binger, if he didn't take action, wouldn't he be even worse than a beast? Okay, let's play a game together with Sister Linger. Lu Changxing's mouth curved into a smile as he spoke warmly. Insult me? Risk life to take mine? Do you really think Mr. Lu is easily frightened? Moments later, Bai Ling and Binger were hugging each other face to face, closely embraced. At the same time, above the vast and boundless ocean, a colossal island spanned across the heavens and the earth. Beneath the island, the endless azure waves were turbulent, with crystalline dragons spiraling upward, as if lifting the immortal island, spectacular and beautiful. Atop the island stood a majestic and magnificent immortal city, its grandeur overwhelming. In the center of the immortal city rose a towering column reaching for the Yunshao, standing tall as if connected to the sky dome, with a splendid and beautiful palace built atop it, diffusing endless divine light amidst the clouds, presenting an inexplicable sense of breathless oppression from afar. At this very moment, within the resplendent palace on the celestial pillar, sat a figure shrouded in a misty, dreamlike aura. She seemed to sense something, and her beautiful eyes, capable of stirring any soul, gazed off into the distance towards a far-off direction. Leng Mingbing, you really aren't dead. The woman's features were delicate, breathtakingly beautiful, with skin like the purest polished jade, seemingly enveloped in a layer of holy radiance, untouched by even a speck of dust, giving those who see her a sense of committing sacrilege. But if Lu Changxing were to see this woman, he would surely be astounded. For her appearance and resemblance eerily mirrored Binger's, after her transformation, with a striking similarity of 90%. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1207, by Lake Mountain, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Inside Changxing Hall, spring is abundant. Lu Changxing, switching between Bai Ling and Binger, moving up and down, composes an exquisite symphony that resembles heavenly music. Even though Binger possesses a physique of third-order body refining. It could be her first experience with intimacy, or the awakening of a second personality expended too much energy. Therefore, she could not withstand the ordeal, and after several tosses, she softly called "Daddy" twice and then closed her eyes, falling into a lazy sleep. As for this, Lu Changxing didn't pay it much heed and continued to strive with Bai Ling in their endeavor to conceive. Originally, Bai Ling's condition would hardly endure Lu Changxing's relentless encouragement day and night. But with the help of the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill, she is extremely energetic, consistently maintaining her peak state. Furthermore, as the two engaged in dual cultivation, the medicinal effects continuously dispersed, nourishing both bodies. Time passed bit by bit in such manner. They labored tirelessly. Unsure how many peaks they've climbed together. CTH Novel Fire. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Accompanied by a moan that sounded like a plaintive sob, Bai Ling's flawlessly graceful jade body turned limp like mud, glowing lustrously and enveloped in a halo of light. At this moment, Lu Changxing noticed something off about Bai Ling. Her body seemed to burn with flames, scorchingly hot. Linger? Lu Changxing immediately embraced Bai Ling's soft and fragrant body, full of concern. Could it be that she overexerted herself for too long, resulting in excessive fatigue? But Bai Ling's physique is extraordinary, and with the assistance of the medicinal power of the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill, she shouldn't be like this. Upon examination, he saw that Bai Ling was bursting with energy, her body flowing with a luminescent glow, without any signs of abnormality. Brother, I'm so sleepy, Linger doesn't know why, suddenly so sleepy, wanting to sleep. Bai Ling's face blushed like peach blossoms, her beautiful eyes hazy, speaking sluggishly and without strength. As soon as she finished speaking, she fell into a deep sleep. At the moment of her slumber, streams of white gold and purple gold brilliance burst forth from within her body, gradually forming a white golden cocoon about 3 meters long that completely wrapped her body inside. Above the cocoon, the strands of light flowed to and fro, waxing and waning as if breathing, attracting countless nature's spiritual energy towards the cocoon. Lu Changxing stared at the scene before him, dumbfounded and puzzled. What's going on? A few days ago Binger inexplicably transformed into a woman who called herself Her Majesty. Now Bai Ling has morphed into a cocoon. Lu Changxing was very confused. However, he immediately realized that Bai Ling's situation was related to the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill. Could it be that pregnancy with the Yin-Yang integration spirit pill also involves turning into a cocoon to nurture the fetus? It shouldn't be the case. Lu Changxing's eyes shone with a golden luster, looking at the white golden cocoon in front of him. He could vaguely see through the cocoon that Bai Ling was deep in sleep, her body shimmering with white golden scales and exuding a mysterious aura, a white diamond-shaped scale mark on her forehead flickering on and off. This situation, why does it seem a bit like a bloodline awakening? Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed slightly, contemplating about the concept of bloodline awakening. Originally, Hong Lian had mentioned that Bai Ling might possess a diluted true spirit bloodline. However, due to ancestral bloodline regression, mutation, and various unknown reasons, part of the bloodline power was activated. As she continued her cultivation, her bloodline could gradually awaken and become more potent. At this point, Bai Ling's condition made Lu Changxing think of bloodline awakening. How can having a child lead to so many accidents? Lu Changxing was somewhat speechless and didn't know what to say. However, according to the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill Manual, consummating for 3 days will surely result in pregnancy. These days, he had no idea how long he had been intimate with Bai Ling. Even though Binger got involved in the process, he figured it shouldn't make a difference. Huff. Lu Chengxing exhaled a breath of turbid energy, feeling completely spirited and full of vitality. The main effect of the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill may indeed be pregnancy. But after all, as a 5th-rank elixir medicine, it not only kept him energized, but now that the pill's effects were dissipating, his cultivation level was on the verge of breaking through to the golden core 2nd layer. He directed a cleansing technique towards the chaotic cave mansion. Then, looking at the sleeping Binger, he lifted her slender waist and smooth jade-like buttocks into his embrace and carried her to the side hall, aiming to place her in the crystal coffin for rest. Bang! Lu Chengxing opened the crystal coffin lid, and immediately a chill air wafted out. Daddy, as soon as Binger lay down, her eyelashes trembled lightly, and her innocent and youthful eyes opened, calling out to Lu Chengxing with a crystal-clear voice. Binger, if you're sleepy, rest well. Lu Chengxing looked at Binger, gently caressed her pale and delicate cheek, and spoke softly. Daddy, when we play games next time, could you be a bit gentler? Binger's cute face rubbed gently against Lu Chengxing's palm, her voice slightly aggrieved. Upon hearing this, a strong sense of guilt surged in Lu Chengxing's heart. He felt that he had been bewitched at the time, having done such things to Binger. Yet, this little girl was still thinking about the next time. Alright, Lu Chengxing's mouth twitched as he spoke softly. Daddy's the best. Binger's smile was pure, beautiful, and crystal clear. Then, she obediently fell asleep. Bang! The coffin lid closed. What's all this even about? Lu Chengxing slapped his forehead and shook his head. Immediately afterwards, he stepped out of Chengxing Hall to ask Hong Lian if she knew what had recently happened to Binger and Bai Ling, this palace, with dark evil qi. Hearing Lu Chengxing's words, Hong Lian pondered for a moment before saying, Young master, there are 2 possibilities for Binger's condition. One is that someone wished to give her a new lease of life, therefore turning her into a Yin corpse. The other is that she found herself in some peril, and in a life-and-death situation, she resurrected herself by turning into a Yin corpse. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1208. However, in this process, the soul was originally in a dormant state, and now Binger's situation is that of a new consciousness born from the body. Hong Lian spoke out. Although cultivators have limited lifespans, in the cultivation world, there are still many techniques and methods to extend one's life, even reincarnating afresh. Among these, the most common are methods such as ghost cultivators, corpse cultivators, or body snatching. However, these methods are forbidden by the natural order and come with great costs. Lu Chengxing nodded, tending more towards the second possibility. Because if it were someone else's doing, why choose a place like the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Moreover, in the underground palace, aside from the Great Formation, there were no other protective measures. But if it was due to encountering danger while still alive, being in a critical state makes much more sense. Regardless, Binger's situation is very unusual. She must have been at least a nascent soul true lord before. Also, I wonder if Binger might become pregnant? At this moment, Lu Chengxing suddenly thought of a problem. During his union with Bai Ling and Binger, he shared intimately. Thus, he did not rule out the possibility of Binger getting pregnant. However, according to common sense, a corpse's body wouldn't become pregnant. But Binger's case couldn't be measured with common sense. Many demi-demons, or those who possess special bloodline power, might inadvertently consume some heavenly and earthly treasures, or cultivate some cultivation technique, and thus may unexpectedly activate the power of their bloodline. Bai Ling might be just such a case. Young master just needs to wait for some time to find out. Hong Lian's voice was gentle and pleasant as she continued speaking. Good. Lu Chengxing nodded, then he inquired about Hong Lian's situation with concern. He learned that she was at the final stage of forming her body. It would take at most 2 to 3 years for her to be born from the spiritual embryo. Afterward, Lu Changsheng returned inside the cave mansion, looking at the dazzling cocoon on the bed that shimmered with a platinum radiance. He closely monitored Bai Ling's situation to avoid any accidents during the process. Bai Yun Peak, a courtyard. Lu Yun walked out of the practice room, his face still somewhat pale and languid. Although the failed foundation establishment didn't cause him severe injury, it still damaged his vitality and he needed a long rest. Master, Grandpa. A woman in the courtyard, along with 2 young children, looked at Lu Yun and immediately called out. This was his wife and their grandchildren. Fuer. Lu Yun, seeing his wife and the 2 young children, his mature face showed a hint of a smile. As one gets older, there tends to be a close bond with the grandchildren. His initial few children did not possess spiritual roots, which led him to have a distant feeling towards his children, with not much expectation placed on them. Later, as he took on the role of family head, he rarely paid attention to his children at home. Now having stepped down from the position of family head, seeing his grandchildren before him, he felt quite emotional. Jie and Fuer will also have their spiritual roots tested in a couple of years, right? Lu Yun asked his wife. Early in his years, under the arrangement of his mother Lu Miaoyun, he had 3 wives and 6 concubines, fathering 25 children. However, out of those 25 children, only 5 possessed spiritual roots, the rest were sent to Rui Prefecture. Jie and Fuer are 4.5 years old, they can go for the spiritual root test next year. Hearing this, his wife's fair face showed a trace of worry. Although both parents of these twin grandchildren have spiritual roots, it's still not guaranteed that they will have them as well. And even possessing spiritual roots, if they are merely lower grade, the path to becoming a cultivator is bleak. Grandpa, will I have a spiritual root? Lu Yuanjia, standing nearby, asked with his little head raised. Having been born in Bai Lake Mountain, influenced by what they saw and heard, they naturally knew about spiritual roots and cultivation. Spiritual roots, Lu Yun, looking at his grandson's slightly chubby face, became a bit lost in thought, reminiscing about his eldest son. When he was young, he seemed to have asked the same question. But now his son's face had become somewhat blurred in his memory. Certainly, when my Jie grows up, Grandpa will teach you how to cultivate. Seeing his grandson's hopeful eyes, Lu Yun, his face slightly pallid yet aged, revealed a gentle smile and softly spoke. After chatting for a while, his wife took the 2 grandchildren and left. Lu Yun leaned back on the recliner, looking up at the azure sky, muttering, spiritual roots. 9th grade spiritual roots, even if one has spiritual roots, 90% are just lower grade. Lower grade spiritual roots, even with chances and foundation establishment elixirs, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. CTH novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Previously seeing how his siblings managed foundation establishment, Lu Yun thought it wasn't as hard as imagined. All that was needed was a foundation establishment elixir, and success was highly likely. Yet only after his own attempt at foundation establishment did he realize that it was several times harder than he had thought. It's also my own inadequacy, Lu Yun thought of Lu Chuanjun, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong, Lu Caizhen, and sighed deeply. After all, their father not only prepared foundation establishment elixirs and spirit objects but also assisted through external forces. In such circumstances, his own failure at foundation establishment could only mean his own incompetence, and he couldn't blame others. Otherwise, why did Lu Chuanjun, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong, and Lu Caizhen, all with the same lower-grade spiritual roots, succeed at foundation establishment? Without the foundation establishment elixirs, even with middle-grade spiritual roots, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. The hope is slim. Lu Yun, hearing the playful noises outside the small courtyard, slightly turned his head and mused to himself. Having been the family head for many years, he was very aware that even with the family's wealth, it was impossible to provide a foundation establishment elixir for everyone. It was only his father's generosity that now allowed his siblings to receive an elixir once they reached the 9th level energy refinement. In the future, as the number of people increases, for the third and fourth generations of the Lu family, it will be difficult for everyone to have a foundation establishment elixir. They must rely on their own efforts and compete. Without support, among my descendants, perhaps none might break through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1209. Lu Yun's heart suddenly felt desolate. He felt that in this life, he was mediocre and incompetent. Even the descendants of his family seemed destined to be mediocre and aimless. Brother Yun, you followed in our father's footsteps, but only grasped the surface. Are you sure you truly understand, father? At this moment, Lu Yun suddenly remembered something Lu Chuanjun had said to him long ago. Father, Lu Yun paused in his heart, feeling indeed that he did not truly understand his father. Even now, his father, Lu Changxing, was still enshrouded in a mist, elusive and incomprehensible. However, at this moment, a thought arose in his heart. If he could not surpass his siblings, then he would change the track. If his children and grandchildren were incompetent, he would just have more children. As long as he had enough children, some of them were bound to be talented and gifted. Although I am mediocre, if I choose to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, I could devote all my time and energy to bearing and raising children, teaching them. Moreover, once I achieve foundation establishment, the talents of the children born will reach even higher levels. Lu Yun muttered to himself, his heart's gloom gradually dissipating, replaced by a surge of boldness. However, hearing the playful laughter of his wife and grandson outside the yard, a self-mocking expression appeared in his eyes, and he muttered to himself, after all is said and done, I am still fundamentally a selfish and indifferent person. This is just an excuse for myself, hoping it would gain my father's affection. When foundation establishment failed, his father talked to him about the heavenly longevity technique, and he was indeed a bit baffled and unsure how to choose. But after calming down, he had more or less made up his mind. Yet there was still a hurdle in his heart. If I break through foundation establishment and live for 200 years, won't I still have to watch them go through birth, aging, sickness, and death? Lu Yun gazed at the blue sky and white clouds, sighing. He knew that if he asked his parents, his father would likely give him another chance to attempt foundation establishment. But if foundation establishment failed again, then he would truly have no chance of achieving it in this lifetime. The heavenly longevity technique not only offered a hope for foundation establishment, but even relying on his father, he might reach that lofty and unattainable realm of core formation. As for not being able to leave by Lake Mountain, as long as one is alive, there are choices. In the Changxing Hall, Lu Changxing was constantly observing the white golden cocoon formed by Bai Ling. Changxing, the auction at Red Leaf Valley Market is about to start. That day, Lu Miaoge, in a plain white dress, looking like a breathtakingly beautiful figure, utterly ethereal, came to the cave mansion and tenderly said to Lu Changxing, "The auction is about to start?" Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing pondered for a moment and said, "Sister Miaoge, take the golden armor bean mother and go oversee the auction." "I will not go this time." Now Bai Ling was in an unknown condition, and he really couldn't rest assured to leave. Moreover, with the lineup at the auction including his daughter Lu Wangshu, the 9 Netherhound, Li Xingyu, Lu Munian, and Lu Yuanzhong, who are foundation establishment fighters, now that Lu Miaoge and Li Xingrua are also going, with such a lineup, even if false core immortals came, they would not be able to cause much trouble. Linger is alright, isn't she? Knowing Bai Ling's situation, Lu Miaoge looked towards the white golden cocoon and inquired with concern. "It's just a bloodline awakening, there should be no issues." Lu Changxing held his wife's hand and softly said, "Sister Miaoge, if any unexpected situation arises, contact me immediately." "Yes." Lu Miaoge softly responded, then with Li Xingrua, took the spirit boat towards Red Leaf Valley Market. They did not go directly to the Red Leaf Valley Market. Instead, they first went to Qingzhou Mountain to pick up her father, Lu Yuanding. In just a few months' time, Lu Yuanding had aged significantly, his gaunt face covered with age spots. If it weren't for the spiritual medicine from Lu Changxing and the continuous care from Lu Miaoge, he might have already been in dire straits. Sarch *the Nefire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Miaoge, you have been working hard these days. Lu Yuanding, his eyes cloudy but shining with some brightness, said. Dad, don't let your emotions stir unnecessarily. Lu Miaoge supported her father and used Tai True water to regulate his qi blood. Changxing is tied up with some matters and can't leave right now. She spoke to nearby Lu Yuanzhong. It's normal to be busy with some matters. Lu Yuanzhong, also looking quite pale with gray hair and wrinkled face, responded. After a brief exchange, Lu Miaoge piloted the spirit boat, carrying Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Yuanding, along with her son Lu Qingxian and daughter Lu Qingqi, toward the Red Leaf Valley market. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:10, Red Leaf Valley Market. Due to the buzz created by the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain, the final highlight of this year's auction is the Foundation Establishment Elixir, and with continuous hype, the traffic in Red Leaf Valley Market has surged in recent months, creating extraordinary excitement. Even many loose cultivators who know they have no chance at the Foundation Establishment Pill have rushed over to join in the excitement, hoping to stumble upon an opportunity or good fortune. Yet another Foundation Establishment ancestor, TSK, this auction is really lively. I've counted, and today alone there have already been 7 Foundation building great cultivators who have arrived. That spirit boat, seems like it's from Purple Cloud Ridge, isn't it? Didn't someone from Purple Cloud Ridge just break through to Foundation Establishment recently? Why would they also attend this auction? As for Foundation Establishment elixirs, who would think they have too many? This auction might require the Lu family ancestor Lu Changxing and his Dao companion Lu Miaoge to preside together, otherwise, it would be impossible to maintain order. Outside the market, streaks of spiritual light flew by, accompanied by the landing of spirit boats, magic artifacts, and birds. Many wearing the law enforcement robes of Red Leaf Valley Market from Blue Lake Mountain, Qingzhou Mountain, and 100 Birds Lake were on patrol, maintaining order. If any Foundation building great cultivator landed, Lu Muping from the nearby pavilion would come out to greet them actively and invite them into the market. After all, this auction was too exciting and unprecedented. Faced with this situation, the 3 families had no choice but to be cautious. If this auction were to be ruined and unforeseen events occurred, not only would Red Leaf Valley Market's reputation plummet, but the 3 families would also be affected. Just then, a dazzling blue spirit boat descended from the sky. CTH Novelfire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Leading them was a woman with an exquisite figure, with her raven hair in a high bun, a clear and beautiful countenance like snow, wearing a plain white dress, and a tall and graceful physique. The lady of the Lu family from Blue Lake Mountain, Lu Miaoge. The Lu family ancestor from Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Yuanzhong. Why is the Lu family ancestor Lu Changxing from Blue Lake Mountain not seen? As soon as a cultivator saw the figures on the spirit boat, they immediately exclaimed, causing a little commotion. After all, Lu Miaoge is now also a well-known Foundation Establishment cultivator, recognized by many. As for Li Xingrua, not many knew her. Greetings to the ancestor. I have seen the lady. Auntie. Several patrolling disciples immediately came forward to greet them upon seeing this. These days, the patrol in Red Leaf Valley Market has been very strict, both inside and out, with children from the 3 families visible everywhere. Lu Miaoge gently nodded in response, then turned to inquire from a 27 or 28-year-old woman, Qin Yan, where's Wangshu? Auntie, Sister Wangshu has been inside the market these days, replied Lu Qinyan, a beautiful woman in silver armor, with an unadorned face, looking spirited and valiant. Has anything happened in the market these days? Asked Lu Miaoge, continuing to show concern. Occasionally a few petty thieves, but all have been dealt with, Lu Qinyan spoke with efficient grace. Although Red Leaf Valley Market is protected by Foundation Establishment cultivators, and even the 9 Netherhound is brought over, there are still some bold robber cultivators who take risks and commit robbery in the vicinity. In the past few months, they have responded to several reports and dealt with numerous robber cultivator incidents. uncle, sixth uncle, aunt, Qing Xian, Qing Shi. At this moment, Lu Munian from the small pavilion greeted Lu Miaoge and the others as he saw them approaching. Muping. Lu Yuanzhong and Lu Miaoge briefly asked a few questions before leading the group into the market. Why is it only Lu Miaoge? Where's Lu Changxing? At such a time, Lu Changxing isn't here? Could it be that Lu Changxing has disguised himself, deliberately concealing himself to lure us into action? It's also possible that Lu Changxing is worried about accidents happening on White Tiger Mountain or Monkey Mountain, so he's causing a diversion and is currently on White Tiger Mountain, speculated some cultivators watching Lu Miaoge and others as their figures disappeared and then quietly relayed the message out. What a lively scene. Under the support of Lu Miaoge and Lu Qingxian, Lu Yuanding looked at the bustling market street, his aged face slightly flushed with excitement. This was a scene he had never dared to imagine. Grandfather, in the future, Red Leaf Valley Market will become even more prosperous and lively with our family, becoming a grand marketplace, Lu Qingxian earnestly said, feeling Grandpa's arm gripped his own tight, his youthful handsome face full of seriousness. Good, Grandfather believes that day will come, Lu Yuanding reassured, patting his grandson's hand, his face full of contentment. As they spoke, they arrived at Red Leaf Peak. Besides several cave mansions rented out at the foot of the peak, the rest were for the family's own use. Standing on the mountain peak, Lu Yuanding looked down at the bustling scene of the marketplace, as if he wanted to etch this image forever in his heart. Lu Qingxian accompanied his grandfather at his side. However, Lu Yuanding's energy was weak, and after watching for a while, he had to return to his room to rest. Inside a small courtyard, Lu Wangshu was chatting with her mother, Xiao Shiyu. Hearing the noise outside, she immediately got up to check. Mother, Aunt Xingrua, you're here, Qing Xian, Chier. Upon seeing Lu Miaoge and the others, Lu Wangshu called out. Having been raised by Lu Miaoge since she was a child, she was quite close to her and usually called her mother. Wangshu, you've been working hard these days, said Lu Miaoge gently to the bright and flawless girl before her. It hasn't been too bad. Where's my dad? Lu Wangshu looked up, searching for her father Lu Changsheng's figure. After all, having worked so hard these days, her father must properly reward his precious daughter. Your dad has some matters at home and can't get away, so he hasn't come, Lu Miaoge explained as she stroked her smooth, soft hair, her demeanor gentle as water. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:11. Humph, Mom and I have been waiting for him for so long, and he didn't even show up. Upon hearing this, Lu Wangshu immediately pouted with a coquettish hum. This time she had invited her mother Xiao Xia over, hoping for a family reunion, but her own father ended up not coming. It's alright, Wangshu. Sir the Novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Just then, Xiao Xia emerged from the courtyard, dressed in a moon-white dress, with a cool and beautiful face and graceful curves, resembling a moon palace fairy. Miaoge. Xiao Xia looked towards Lu Miaoge and nodded slightly. Because of Lu Changxing and her daughter, she had a pretty good relationship with Lu Miaoge. Xia, Changxing truly has some matters to attend to and can't get away at the moment. Lu Miaoge explained on behalf of her husband as she looked at the fairy-like figure before her. It's fine. Xiao Xia's expression remained cool and sanctified as she gently shook her head. She knew that Lu Changxing, who was breaking through to core formation, whether in practicing cultivation methods and abilities or in refining magical treasures, was very time-consuming and could no longer afford the leisureliness of earlier years. The group entered the courtyard to chat. Li Xingrua was not familiar with Xiao Xia and didn't try to forcefully join the conversation. Instead, she went to find her sister Li Xingyu and her daughter Lu Qingli. Let's go, Qing Xian, Chier, sister will take you to look around. Feeling somewhat bored, Lu Wangshu turned to her younger siblings and spoke. Thank you, sister. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingxi immediately responded with joy, happily clutching Lu Wangshu's arm. She was very fond of this sister. After all, This sister was very generous and open-handed. As long as she behaved obediently and showed her cuteness a bit, she often bought her nice things to eat and play with. Lu Qingxian followed, quiet and serene, staying by the side of her two sisters. Only occasionally did she ask Lu Wangshu some questions about the marketplace and the situation there. At the same time, many powers that were keeping an eye on Blue Lake Mountain's situation were secretly scheming and discussing fervently. Lu Changxing actually hasn't shown up, only sending Lu Miaoge alone? The two of them practicing dual cultivation techniques, their combat power would significantly decrease if they were separated. Lu Changxing definitely wouldn't do something so foolish. Could this be a deliberate ploy to provoke an attack? Should we seize this opportunity to deal with Lu Miaoge? Whoever wins the Foundation Establishment elixir, the moment they leave the marketplace, we strike. If they dare to attempt Foundation establishment in the Red Leaf Valley market, we'll directly dismantle their market's great formation. White Tiger Mountain's guardian spiritual beast is currently stationed in Red Leaf Valley market. With no Foundation establishment cultivator available to protect White Tiger Mountain, we could take this opportunity to wreak havoc. Blue Lake Mountain placed its main puppet industry on White Tiger Mountain. They definitely have some defenses set up. Perhaps Lu Changxing is lurking on White Tiger Mountain, so it's safer to target Monkey Hill instead. Though Monkey Hill doesn't have any publicly known Foundation establishment cultivators sitting in, I suspect, just like the early years of White Tiger Mountain, they have hidden Foundation establishment cultivators. Humph, I don't believe that Monkey Hill also has a Lu Pingon. These forces were secretly conspiring to strike at Blue Lake Mountain during this opportunity. After all, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family's rise to power had been very prominent recently. With both establishing a chamber of commerce and hosting such a large auction event. If the auction was to be successfully held, Blue Lake Mountain's reputation was sure to advance further. By then, when their fame spread throughout the Qingyun region, and even throughout the entire Jianghu country cultivation realm, countless loose cultivators and small family forces would deliver Foundation establishment pill materials they collected with great difficulty to Blue Lake Mountain for Foundation establishment elixirs. Under such circumstances, who could stop the rise of Blue Lake Mountain? So now, while there was still a chance, they naturally wanted to press down on the power of Blue Lake Mountain and prevent its smooth rise. The next day, the auction officially began. On the streets, countless cultivators headed towards the auction venue. Good heavens, so many Foundation establishment ancestors. SSS, isn't this the famous Qi refinement perfection master among loose cultivators, the Thousand Extinction Hermit? Aren't these people from Jinlong Ridge Jin family? They've actually come to attend the auction? The crowd was abuzz with talk as Hong Yi, dressed in a purple garment, his face now lined with wrinkles, arrived at the auction venue with his son Hong Xuanji. Time flies, indeed. Hong Yi looked at the bustling venue before him, his expression laden with emotion. As he grew older, he seldom left Rui Prefecture and had not been to Red Leaf Valley Market for almost 10 years. He came this time upon hearing about the Foundation establishment elixir, wanting to join in the excitement and also to meet Lu Changxing. Looking at the now completely transformed and bustling Red Leaf Valley Market, he felt a mix of familiarity and strangeness. He clearly remembered that when Red Leaf Valley Market was still in preparation, he had purchased a shop here for 1,800 spirit stones through his connection with Lu Changxing. However, with the prosperity of Red Leaf Valley Market, the price of this shop has also increased several times over. With the speed at which his Rui Marquis mansion earned money, it would take decades to accumulate enough spirit stones to buy a shop like this. At the entrance of the auction venue, a Lu family disciple who was maintaining orders saw Hong Yi and Hong Xuanji and immediately approached them politely. "I've seen Uncle Hong, and I've seen brother-in-law Yun Fei." Hong Xuanji recognized this Lu family's son and exchanged a few simple pleasantries. After that, the two were led to the VIP seats. Normally, based on their status, it would be difficult for them to sit in the VIP area. But Hong Yi was after all an old friend of Lu Changxing, so Lu Xingyang had reserved some seats early on. "Xuanji, why hasn't Saijin come?" After sitting down, Hong Yi glanced around at the other seats. He saw many Lu family sons but did not see Lu Saijin, expressing his surprise. He had previously thought his daughter-in-law would be together with other Lu family disciples or be arranged to deal with some affairs. Father-in-law, Caizhen has other arrangements from the family, so she has been quite busy these days. Hong Xuanji paused for a moment and whispered in reply. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:12. Although Lu Kaizen's foundation establishment was not publicized, his wife, lacking scheming, often spoke to him about various matters, so he faintly speculated about it but never dared to confirm. You and your spouse should get along well on normal days. Upon hearing this, Hong Yi slightly nodded and then inquired about the situation of the Lu family. After hearing that there had been no news about Lu Chuanjun, Hong Yi sighed. He had high hopes for Lu Chuanjun in his earlier years. He believed that even with a lower-grade spiritual root, Lu Chuanjun could achieve no small success. Later, upon hearing that Lu Chuanjun exhibited the strength of the energy refinement late stage during the assault on White Tiger Mountain, he even believed that the other party could break through to foundation establishment. Unfortunately, Lu Chuanjun had been out for so many years without any news. Otherwise, if Lu Chuanjun had broken through to foundation establishment, he might have been able to support his own son. Alas! Hong Xuanji also sighed slightly when talking about Lu Chuanjun, not knowing where his elder brother-in-law had gone. The other party had bid him and Lu Caizhen farewell when he set out years ago, leaving behind some parting words. But unexpectedly, after so many years, there was not a trace of news. Time passed by little by little. After the venue became crowded, a man and a woman came onto the auction stage. Welcome all seniors and Daoist friends to grace Red Leaf Valley Market with your presence. I am Lu Qingza from Blue Lake Mountain, fortunate to preside over this auction. I hope everyone can purchase items to your liking. During the auction process, it is forbidden to threaten or maliciously inflate prices, and such disruptive behaviors will result in the forfeiture of cultivation level and expulsion from the market. After a few opening remarks and introducing the auction rules, the man went straight to the point and began to introduce the auction items. The first item of this auction is the Breakthrough Elixir. In addition to the Finale Foundation Establishment Elixir, Lu Changxing also had his family prepare some fine elixir medicines, talismans, and heavenly and earthly treasures for this auction. The many treasures he had acquired from White Peak Immortal could slowly be processed through such auctions. However, it was difficult to liquidate advanced-level heavenly and earthly treasures at the modest Red Leaf Valley Market. 100 Spirit Stones. 150 Spirit Stones. 200 Spirit Stones. With each item presented, the auction proceeded vigorously. Even though many came for the Foundation Establishment Elixir at the end, they also gained considerable rewards from this auction. The auction was grand, lasting 3 days. There was also an intermission midway each day. On the third day, the auction entered its final phase. The quality of items today was increasingly high, with casual bidding amounts reaching hundreds, thousands, and even nearly 10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the last item of our Red Leaf Valley Market auction, the Foundation Establishment Elixir. Lu Qingza spoke with a somewhat excited voice on the stage. Sir the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. As soon as these words were uttered, the atmosphere in the entire venue seemed to solidify. Countless people held their breath, staring intently at the auction stage. Suddenly, a stunning woman in a pink and white dress, with a beautiful, radiant, and pristine appearance, exuding a peaceful and elegant charm, stepped onto the stage and handed out a porcelain veil. Who is this woman? She's so beautiful. Lu Wangshu, the Lu family ancestor Lu Changsheng's much-beloved daughter, a second-grade talisman master. A second-grade talisman master? Lu Changsheng, truly starting from the talisman path, now has a second-ranked talisman master in his children. Hiss, if I could marry this woman, wouldn't Foundation Establishment be hopeful? The descendants of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family seem to have quite a few good-looking ones. You can always trust the taste of the Lu ancestor. What magic artifact did this woman use to conceal her cultivation level? Is she not an energy-refining cultivator but a Foundation Establishment cultivator? As Lu Wangshu stepped onto the stage, many people immediately started discussing, with looks of admiration and astonishment. Some Foundation Establishment ancestors seeing Lu Wangshu suspected that she might be a Foundation Establishment cultivator. After all, a precious elixir like the Foundation Establishment elixir, in order to avoid risks, would not generally be placed in the hands of energy-refining cultivators. Sister Wangshu has worked hard. Lu Qingze received the Foundation Establishment elixir, then opened it and announced, "The function of the Foundation Establishment elixir, I believe, needs no further explanation. It can harmonize the three barriers of Foundation Establishment, protect and strengthen the meridians and dantian of the breakthrough practitioner, significantly improving the chances and safety of Foundation Establishment. However, this particular Foundation Establishment elixir has a flaw. It is but an inferior Foundation Establishment elixir, and can only increase the likelihood of Foundation Establishment by 10%. Lu Qingze spoke with a clear voice, introducing the item. An inferior Foundation Establishment elixir, increasing the chances by 10%? Upon hearing this, various forces in the venue reacted with both surprise and disappointment. After all, many had come in hopes of a genuine Foundation Establishment elixir. Meanwhile, some of the loose cultivators and small family forces realized the competition for the inferior Foundation Establishment elixir would be much less, giving them a chance. This Foundation Establishment elixir will have a starting bid of 5,000 spirit stones, and each increment must not be less than 200. Lu Qingze announced loudly, unperturbed by the commotion below. Lu Wangshu remained gracefully upright on the stage, observing the surroundings to prevent disturbances. 6,000 spirit stones. 7,000 spirit stones. 7,500 spirit stones. Despite being an inferior Foundation Establishment elixir, the competition was fierce. The price soon soared to 8,000 spirit stones. Many loose cultivators sighed at the sight. They had hoped for a slight chance with the inferior Foundation Establishment elixir. Yet, the competition remained intense. Many factions, after hesitating for a moment, also chose to give up. After all, besides being flawed, the elixir carried risks on the journey back. 10,200 spirit stones. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible.